Good evening, guys. Welcome to this Saturday evening live stream. Well, we have Venerable Owl in the house. Good to see you. And I saw Chef Tech Mark in the house. Good to see you. And CR in the house. Good to see you guys. And I think we wait a couple of more minutes and let more people pop in. And by the way, Mark, I have emailed you the link to the StreamYard, and I put a link to the stream on your Instagram, CR, if you are up for it. So today we are going to today's topic is the new pamphlet, If Crisis or War Comes. So we go into detail about this new pamphlet because this will be really interesting for a lot of you guys because they have added some new things to it. And I didn't want to go into detail when it comes to the video I made earlier this week because that video would be too long. So that is why we go into more detail about this pamphlet on this live stream. And there we have Mark.
Yeah, I missed last week's. I'm so sorry about that. I realized at the end of your stream, you're like, yeah, this was Mark's idea. I'm like, crap, that was my idea. I needed to
it was your idea.
I had so many ideas that I wanted to get out there. I get home, my live stream on my phone it must have went slower. It said I still had 30 minutes left, so I tried to hop on. It's like the stream has ended. I'm like, oh, come on. And I look at the clock. I was like, oh, yeah, it's over. Whatever.
Well, whatever. Hey, Liselot Jepson, good to see you, ma'am. So, and I also put the link to this new pamphlet in the description box as usual for this stream as well. If anybody haven't downloaded yet, because it's free to download, and it is actually the English version, so that is on a PDF file. Yes, at least Mark is here now, and that is a good thing. And by the way, PV will not pop up today. He has veteran dinner today at this time, so he will not join the stream, so he will watch the replay. So that is at least something. I downloaded the pamphlet and it is full of very useful information. Sweden is certainly on track. I agree with you about that. Do you want to join us up here, Venerable Owl? Well, in that case, I can just give you the ladder so you can come up, because this will be really interesting. Okay, no problem. No problem. It's better to ask than not to ask. And we have Prepper for the Ages in the house. Good to see you, ma'am. It's always nice to see you. So I think we can get a good conversation about this new pamphlet. So that is, this got to be really interesting from my point of view, and I hope it will be the same for you guys. No problem, Venerable Owl. I just ask. It's better to ask than don't. So, 6 in the house. It was 7. Well, somebody pops in and drop off. But anyway, I have prepared the pamphlet, the English version. So it's on. I downloaded the PDF file. So I think we can go get into this topic and see what it is. This is the new design of the pamphlet. It's a total difference from the first version we got, 2018. This is that version we got 2018, and now it's yellow and black. So in case of war, crisis or war. So let's get into this. Important information to all residents of Sweden. That's a good thinking. I can see. Okay, I can't enlarge it, so we have to go from there. The first section here says this brochure is distributed to every household in Sweden on behalf of the Swedish government. The Swedish Civil Contingency Agency, or MSB, is responsible for the content. The brochure is available to order in Swedish, Easy Swedish, and in English, and may be downloaded digitally in many other languages. It's also available in Swedish Sign Language, audio format, and Braille. For more information, please visit msb.se. And it says also, keep this brochure in a safe place. I agree with that. So the next page on this says, to all residents of Sweden, we live in uncertain times. Armed conflicts are currently being waged in our corner of the world. Terrorism, cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns are being used to undermine and influence us. To resist these threats, we must stand united if Sweden is attacked. Everyone must do their part to defend Sweden's independence and our democracy. We build resilience every day together with our loved ones, colleagues, friends, and neighbors. In this brochure, you will learn how to prepare for and act in a case of crisis or war. You are part of Sweden's overall emergency preparedness. And that says everything. And I think more countries like US and probably UK as well should do something similar, in my opinion.
US will never do it. They're too busy telling us to go to the doctor to get the latest, greatest, whatever they've come up with to keep us alive. For what reason, I have no idea, but...
Yeah, you're probably correct. They will not do things like this unless you have enough people behind you that can push this to the on a municipality level, and then the municipality has to push it to the senators or whatever.
Yeah, they need to push their agenda of reality, not
exactly
state. And until we get enough people to do that here, they're just going to keep pushing whatever they want until maybe sometime end of January, something should change, hopefully. And we might see something else with some of the people that are coming on board. But that still remains to be seen. Talk is still cheap. I don't care how close they are.
Yeah, I agree about that. And then we have the contents list. And that says basically everything, what's inside this folder. But we can go to this section instead. In uncertain times, it is important to be prepared. That says everything. Military threat levels are increasing. We must be prepared for the worst case scenario, an armed attack on Sweden. And then the next section under this says, war, the ultimate threat to our freedom. When military violence is used to assume authority over us, our right to live a free and independent life is threatened. However, there are other ways besides armed conflict to influence and undermine our society. For example, cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, terrorism, sabotage. These types of attacks may occur at any time. Some are happening here and now. We can never take our freedom for granted. Our courage and will to defend our open society are vital, even though it may require us to make certain sacrifices. Hey, Vanessa Kitty, good to see you. And JUFM, good to see you. And it has a little nice yellow square here, or rectangle. It says, if Sweden is attacked, we will never surrender. Any suggestion to the contrary is false.
So does Sweden, I'm not up on Swedish politics, but like we have the Second Amendment in the United States. Do you guys have something similar, or I don't know how much you can talk about?
We don't have Second Amendment or anything like that. I don't know anything if we have something similar. I don't think so. But
so yeah, if you're never going to surrender, how are you going to defend yourself if they don't? Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. That means
you
have
can move
to
on now. I don't want to poke the bear on that one.
No, it's not a good idea to poke a bear that's sleeping. But it says also other serious threats. We also need to strengthen our resilience against other serious risks and threats, including extreme weather events, dangerous pathogens, outages across important IT systems, organized crime. So, yeah, and Liselott Jepsen says that is the home guard, basically. So, our home guard is similar to your national guard. Hey, Howie, good to see you, brother. So, what are we going to say about this section? I think they have put out in their really good points, in my opinion.
I think they're basically telling you, be prepared.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, with everything and anything that could possibly come down the highway at you.
Yeah. Hey, Hendo, good to see you, brother. So, I think that this section has a lot of good points. especially cyber attacks influence and undermine our society, um, disinformation campaigns, terrorism, sabotage. That is something that happens all around the world. So even here, so it happens, but it's not that often that happens. But cyber attacks, yes. Um, so okay, the next one. It says the together we make Sweden stronger. Um, this section mentions during times of crisis or war, we all need to contribute to Sweden's resilience. Government agencies, regional authorities, and municipalities assume major responsibilities when our security is threatened. Municipalities, for example, care for the sick and elderly and ensure that childcare and rescue services remain uninterrupted as far as possible. The private sector also contributes to our preparedness. If a serious incident does occur, aid must be primarily focused on those who need it the most. This means that most of us must be able to manage on our own for at least a week. Here are some examples of how you can get involved in our collective preparedness. Join a voluntary defense organization that has specific duties within the framework of Sweden's total defense system. There are also other non-profit organizations and faith communities that play important roles. Complete a course in emergency CPR. Donate blood if you can. Talk to other people in your local community about how to strengthen your collective preparedness, for example, with neighbors in your block or of flats or residential area. So that says also everything, because that tells you need to be prepared basically. So that means every person in the country need between 16 to 70 years old need to contribute to the civil defense. Hey, Grace in NYC, good to see you, ma'am. That's good, Grace. Hey, dear love survival, good to see you, Costa. And I believe you want to join me, dear love survival. Yeah, he probably will. So we do like this. There we go. Let's see if dear love will join us. He probably will. But anyway, this section mentions what the different authorities has, what kind of responsibility they have. So So that means basically every one of us who can take care of ourselves, we need to have enough for at least a week. But I would say a little bit more than that.
A week?
Yeah,
That's it.
that's minimum. That's minimum. But I say more than that.
Yeah, I think I'm good for a fair bit of time with me and my wife, even if one of my daughters and her husband shows up.
Yeah. JUFM says, well, any invasion coming from the east has to go through Finland. If Simahaya has any descendants, that might grind any ground ancient to halt. Yeah. Because it is up to us. Indeed, CR.
Wait, what's the old phrase? If it is to be, it's up to me.
Yeah, that's a phrase sounds familiar. But it was a long time ago I heard that one.
I think it's more of a business phrase, like to do your job. But anyway.
Yeah, probably. Vanessa says, is this the government sending out a pamphlet? Yes, Vanessa, it is. Yes, it is, Vanessa. Okay, now this is almost the same, except they have added one more thing to this. Swedish defense. Sweden's total defense system comprises military and civil defense. Sweden is also part of NATO's collective defense. So the section under here is, the first one is military defense. And then we have civil defense. And then we have the new thing here, Sweden in NATO. Gray says Russia has places underground for their people. Yeah. If we go to the military defense, Sweden's military defense protects Sweden and its NATO allies from armed attacks, defense our national borders, and aids in conflict resolution. It comprises the Swedish armed forces and government agencies whose core duty is to support Sweden's military defense. And now Derelab Survival popped up, but his devices is not connected yet. Probably. Hey, Costa, good to see you.
Good evening, all.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, brother. Good to see you all. Good evening, everybody.
Hey, DS.
Hi. I've got a bit of a toothache at the moment, so I might not speak as much today, but I'll just,
Yeah, understand that. And then we go to this section, civil defense. Civil defense involves everyone who lives in Sweden alongside government agencies, regional authorities, municipalities, private sector, and non-profit organizations. One of the most important tasks of the civil defense is to support the military defense. Another core task is to protect the population and ensure that essential public services are uninterrupted as far as possible, even during times of war. Essential public services include energy, healthcare, and transport. And we have also the section Sweden in NATO. Sweden is part of the military alliance NATO. The purpose of the alliance is that the member countries collectively will be so strong that it deters others from attacking us. If one NATO country is nevertheless attacked, the other countries in all alliance will aid in its defense. All for one, one for all. That sounds like the Three Musketeers. So what do you say, dear?
Well, I didn't get a copy of the pamphlet.
Yeah.
But obviously a lot of things is just to take up our time, I believe. Keep us in fear. Yeah, sorry, Swedish. I've got a toothache today, and I didn't manage to read the pamphlet. So I do apologise.
No problem.
But this is why I'm here. I want to know more as well. I mean, yes, they're telling us these things now, but I mean, you try and get certain things like NBC suits or even gas masks. You have to be either from a company to get the good stuff. I mean, you could get the army surplus, and you can get the very, very expensive equipment. But if you try, to get, I mean, I had to go through a company to buy my gas mask, so it's difficult for civilians. I mean, it's a bit late, I think. I mean, so much things is happening, but anyway, I mean, something is better than nothing, and reading what you've got here on the screen about
Good to see you.
Reading what you've got on the screen here: the Swedish defence, military defence, civil defence, Sweden in NATO. Yeah, it's every. I suppose it's all good if it's good information. Like I said, I didn't read it fully. I'm sorry. I do apologise for that, Shadow. I should have been a bit more prepared. But since for about a week now, my whole mouth has been,
Yeah, I know the feeling. I had toothache myself, and I know how it feels.
Yeah, and it's my front tooth, and I was thinking, wow, I'm not going to be able to smile. I mean, you open your mouth and you smile, and then one tooth is missing. It's like, oh man.
Yeah.
So I think I've been dreading that more than actually going to the dentist and getting it taken out.
Yeah.
But that's another story. But yeah.
And now we have the.
Why did they send you Why did they send you the pamphlet now? Then.
I got this Monday, this week. I got it in the mailbox. And the next section in this is heightened state of alert, which means in the event of war, or the threat of war, the Swedish government may announce a heightened state of alert to improve the country's ability to defend itself. That is logic, okay?
Yeah.
A heightened state of alert requires that we unite against an aggressor while ensuring the essential services and functions remain uninterrupted. If such an event arises, you may also be called upon to serve in various capacities. Announcements regarding a heightened state of alert will be broadcast through various channels, including radio, TV, and teletext. The emergency alarm may also be used to signal the highest state of alert. The emergency alarm signals that Sweden is in a state of war or immediately threatened with armed conflict. The entire total defense must mobilize immediately, and everyone must prepare for war. The entire country has entered the highest state of alert. So that speaks for itself, basically. Yes, there will be emergency alarm signals, and we get to that later in this pamphlet.
Yeah, I think DS was asking, did the government give any particular reason why they decided to send this pamphlet out all of a sudden?
Because they did the first version, they sent it because they know it was as uncertain. It begins to be uncertain times back then in 2018. So they thought that they needed to send out a pamphlet again.
Oh, okay. This isn't the first time then.
No, we had one in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Here's the poem.
But then they took that away because they thought that it's not needed. But 2018, before 2018, they realized that, I think we need to do a new pamphlet.
Yeah, maybe they're scared that the people are going to say, well, why didn't you tell us anything? So they better pass out the pamphlet now, because when something happens, the people may ask, why didn't you tell us anything to prepare us? I mean, what can really prepare the people for war, other than people being preppers? You know, what can really prepare us? A pamphlet. I mean, yes, it's useful information. Yeah, thank you guys for the encouragement. My teeth are going to be fine. You know, my smile will be back. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. For this section, total defense duty, from the year you turn 16 until the end of the year you turn 70, you are part of Sweden's. You are part of Sweden's total defense and required to serve in the event of war or threat of war. Total defense duty applies to all Swedish citizens living in Sweden or abroad. Total defense duty also applies to foreign nationals residing in Sweden. Total defense duty consists of military or civil defense service. During the heightened state of alert, you are to proceed immediately to the place you have been designated in your wartime posting.
Wow.
General national service. If the Swedish government activates general national service, you are to remain at work or carry out other tasks in support of Sweden's total defense system. And this little yellow thing here says, during a heightened state of alert, go to work as usual unless you are assigned to a specific wartime posting. So hey, Diors, good to see you.
Sure. Until the year you turn 70.
Yep.
Wow.
Wait, 17 or 70?
70.
Holy crap.
So they're preparing the reserves from now.
The year you turn 16, you have to do that duty. And it ends when you turn 70.
So cradle to grave, basically.
More or less.
Well, maybe not the cradle, from bicycle to grave.
During a heightened state of alert, go to work as usual.
Pretend nothing's wrong.
Don't worry about the planes flying overhead. Don't worry about the gunfire shot. Just go to work. And unless you're assigned a specific wartime posting, so yeah, don't worry about the bombs, the planes, the tanks. Just go to work, unless you've been given a specific posting. Wow, Shadow. Well, you've got your yeah.
So that's many years you have obliged to do your duty.
Well, you can look at it as a lifetime of patriotism towards your country.
Yeah. Well, they don't do nothing for us. They want us to do everything for them.
Well, yeah, we got to make sure that they can continue to do nothing for us after we're gone because they didn't do anything for us.
Yeah, and they promised everybody that if you just toe the line and just pay your taxes, pay for your mortgage, everything's going to be okay. Just stop at the red light, cross the road the correct way, and But now people seeing their countries overrun, their children can't afford a house even in their own countries. The English people can't, unless they've got a really good paycheck. But a majority of, so I guess because they're not coming through with their promises. Anyway, we just get rid of you. We just put you into wars. We just prepare you for more wars and just get more diseases out there and all these Freemasons, Satanists are thinking that they're winning.
Well, if you don't like it there, you can move to Canada, and if you feel depressed, they'll just assist you in your ending of life.
Oh wow, yeah, wow, yeah, lovely world we live in. But
Record for the Ages says go to work as usual. That's what was announced in the second tower on the 11th September before the plane went into it. Yeah.
Well, except for the people that heard about it ahead of time, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah, don't worry about the sharks in the water. People, just go to the beach, go swimming.
Yeah, just pretend like you're good. We'll take care of it.
Don't worry about the sharks. You remember the film Jaws, and the guy was saying, "Oh no, the beaches are safe. They're safe to go swimming."
Yeah.
People go swimming and they get eaten by. It's a shark. Yeah, well,
it's fine.
I think sometimes we are our own worst enemy because we just follow whoever's following someone else. Like they're following that person, so let's just follow that person. Oh, well, there's more following that person, so maybe we should follow the majority that are following that person. Well, it's all become a mess now. The sheep don't know who to follow anymore. I mean, I think Obama said that in one of his speeches once in the past.
Yeah, well, he wanted everybody
to
follow.
Get the people to be so confused. Get them to not be able to trust anybody. I mean, we're pretty much on our own. But we're not on our own because we've got faith in God, got faith in Jesus Christ. I have. I'm not pushing it on anybody, but
As I was saying before, at least in the side chat, typically, at least military-aged men of service have been typically viewed between the ages of 16 to 45. In some cases, upwards of 55, but 16 to 70, that's insane.
Well, yeah, they're preparing Dad's army as well as backup. Like in Ukraine, they started to kidnap people and put them on the front line.
I heard as far as like Ukraine is concerned, I heard that they had they'd started conscripting actually people like men who had mental disabilities, minor mental disabilities, like not even like they're like I said, they're not completely helpless where they need assisted living, but they are in normal circumstances they wouldn't be able to do a lot of things on their own or would be eligible to be conscripted for military use.
Now they're pushing for down to 16 years old. It was 18. They're trying to push it backwards to 16 now.
Hey, Kaylin.
Well,
good
I was
to
going to
see you,
say,
man.
at least in like from a historical precedence in the United States, at least like colonial, like I said, talking about colonial times, military age was between the ages of 16 to 45 for males.
Right.
And we have the next section here, warning systems. In the event of serious accidents, crisis threats of war, or war warnings may be issued in various ways. Learn what the different sirens means. Outdoor warning. The outdoor warning system, which uses loud sirens, is operational in most municipalities around Sweden's nuclear power plants. The system is tested at 3 p.m. on the first non-public holiday Monday in the March, June, September, and December. Public service announcement, PSA. This siren sounds for 7 seconds, followed by 4 seconds of silence. The pattern repeats for 2 minutes. Go indoors, close all windows and doors, and if possible, switch off the ventilation. Listen to Swedish public broadcaster, Swedish radio, channel P4 for more information. The emergency warning and information systems is used in emergency situations, for example, in case of hazardous air quality events or fires that may emit toxic fumes or cause explosions. Public service announcements are broadcast primarily through Swedish radio, SVT, Swedish Public Service Television, SVT teletext, as well as commercial radio and TV channels. Apps that include emergency information, SOS, alarm, emergency services, Swedish radio and SVT, text messages sent to mobile phones in the affected area. And I think that is a really good system. We have a fire horn in our town, so this would be feasible here. Yeah, it would. Prepare for the ages.
Yeah, not that there are any nuclear facilities in this immediate area of Texas, but like I said, we got. I think there's tornado sirens at least out here, but that's about it. I think that'd be the only way. That'd be the only way that they would, be able to, like, aside from, like I said, the usual SMS text messages they send over our phones and everything like that. It'd be about the usual way they would be able to warn us of anything coming in advance.
Hey, Nick Miller, good to see you. All governments prep, yeah.
All the more reason for us to be, prepping. All the more reason for us to make sure we're checking our preps, checking our batteries, checking our water purification tablets, our water filters, our clothing, NBC suits. If we've got some gas mask filters, we've got to prepare.
I've got a shortwave I need to pull out of the Faraday cage. I need to check up on the batteries because I packed that thing away like 7 years ago.
Have a backup plan. Have you guys got a place? For example, if you've got a family and you're all away from home, if anything happens and the comms goes down, the telephones go down, have you got a place where you're all going to meet up? I mean, it's getting to that point where we have to be ahead. we're coming into some very confusing times. People are like, okay, we're getting pamphlets, we're getting things happening in different parts of the world. So we're definitely on the right track by prepping, finding out as much information as we got. It's good that Swedish is letting us know this stuff, because it's nice to know what's going on in other countries as well. You know,
Yeah.
you know, and and what other people are doing to prepare. We can share ideas what we're doing to prepare. Like someone said in the comment section there, the government's prep. What government's prep? They're at least 50 years ahead of well, the military's 50 years ahead, definitely. The government's definitely, I would say, anywhere up to 100 years ahead.
Yeah. And the next alarm or siren we have here is the emergency alarm.
Yeah.
The siren sounds for 30 seconds, followed by 15 seconds of silence. The pattern is repeated for 5 minutes. Go indoors, listen to channel P4 on the Swedish public broadcaster, Swedish radio. An emergency alarm means that the entire country is in the highest state of alert. If you are a member of the armed forces or serve in the civil defense, proceed immediately to your designated wartime posting. If your wartime posting is your current workplace, follow your employer's instructions. And then we have the air raid warning. This siren consists of short bursts which sound for 1 minute to cover immediately, for example, in a civil defense shelters, cellar, or other protective structures. You'll have better protection indoors than outdoors, preferably in a room without windows. And the last one is all clear. A long, uninterrupted siren lasting for 30 seconds. So that is these types of alarms we have here anyway.
Yeah, we don't have any kind of those alarms out here except for the local fire siren. I'm not in an area that gets tornadoes, so we don't have a tornado siren up here. But all we have is like SMS messaging and the TV and the radio.
Yeah, I'm unaware of any sort of any sounds that go off, any alarms in London. Not that I'm aware. There probably are, but
Yeah, I feel bad for you guys that live over there in the UK. I mean, actually, I do feel bad for a lot of people who live in Eastern Europe right now, because they're under a heightened sense of alert, heightened sense of alertness due to the recent missiles flying across the borders both ways. But like, as far as you guys in the UK are concerned, I mean, shoot, a lot of you guys live in apartment flats anyway. And if you don't live in apartment flats, you guys really don't have much of a yard. And I'm just like thinking to myself, for the ones that are fortunate enough to even have a little bit of a yard, or should I say a garden.
Oh, they're definitely gunning for us at the moment. I mean, the farmers are under attack. I mean, they're even telling people in the UK to register their chickens for some reason. You know, we need to know who's got chickens all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They're using the bird flu, and they're using certain diseases as excuses, but it's almost like we can't do anything here. We can only have a 3-inch non-locking blade. We can't light fires. We can't go camping. We can't. I mean, someone said to me, "Why don't you do a video of you using your stuff?" And it's like, well, it's not like in America. You can go out into the countryside and use your axes. Okay, as long as you're not in a town waving it around wildly. But if you're in the bushes, generally you're going to be left alone. But in the UK, you could get arrested for having an axe or a knife or lighting a fire or camping. It's like it's just stupid.
Yeah.
It's just here. England is just the money. America's just the soldiers, and we're all being used as a buffer. You know, everybody hates UK. Everybody hates America. You know, the hate is you know, the powers that be know how to hide and know how to, you know, shift get the blame shifted.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, they tell us virtually when it's like too late. I mean, how many of those Russians were told, "Oh, we're just going to on exercise next to Ukraine," and a lot of them young soldiers thought, "Oh, we're just on exercise," and then bang, they went in, and you know, their own soldiers weren't prepared. You know, the powers that be, they know what's going on. They know what agenda they've got.
Yeah.
But us on the ground, I mean, yes, in England, we you know, we're being sort of attacked from within as well as coming from outside. But yeah,
You got a lot of issues going on over there. Hey, I heard something funny about the chicken registering, that people were overloading the website, registering all the chickens they were buying at the store, fried chickens, cooked chickens. I heard that, but I don't know if it was true or not. I'm like, that must have been hysterical. It's like, oh, I have to register a chicken? Great. I just bought 2 3-pound hens at the store. Let me go online and register them. Then go back in and say, oh, sorry, I ate it.
oh, it's gone. My chicken's passed away.
Yep, it passed away, and I just digested them.
Yeah, just passed through this way.
Yeah.
Through this way. Yeah, it's crazy at the moment. I mean, you know, everybody is blaming England. Everybody's blaming like the people, the Americans, and it's like don't realise the powers that be are. There's a lot of corruption in the governments, and there's, you know, sadly our own people are helping these people, but if they don't help them, the people will just get someone else that will.
Crap, you guys haven't had the same prime minister for more than 2 weeks on end for how long now? Every time you turn around, there's another prime minister because they just ousted that one because of whatever.
Yeah, it's just a mess. They're just getting paid to waste our time. Our most valuable thing at the moment, guys and girls, is our time. And the more time we spend, you know, watching what's going on or waiting to see what's going to go on. In the meantime, you know, we should be prepping. We've got to be prepping. I always say to people, you know, even start wearing outdoor clothing. You know, if you go out with your flip flops, your shorts on, your little summer shirts on, you know, I'm not trying to put a downer on anybody's life, but I would say, you know, be prepared from now on, like, you know, as much as you can. And you know, like it says on the screen, seeking shelter during an air raid. Do we know somewhere where we can hide away?
It says here, if there is an air raid, you must immediately take cover in a shelter or other protected place. Choose the nearest one. You may also need to evacuate an area in the event of a possible military offensive. Warnings are broadcast through a variety of channels, including air raid warning and the Swedish public broadcaster, Swedish radio channel P4. Civil defense shelters provide protection against shock waves and bomb fragments. They also protect against the blast and heat waves from a nuclear weapon. Shelters provide better protection than other spaces when it comes to radioactive fallout, gas from chemical weapons, and biological weapons. Other places in which to seek shelter: cellars, garages, and below-ground metro stations also provide cover during an air raid. Tunnels and walls can also offer some protection. Being indoors is better than outdoors, preferably in a room without windows. If you're outside and don't have time to take cover, you must lie down on the ground, preferably in a small pit or ditch. When you hear the all clear siren, you may leave your shelter. help people who are injured or trapped. This is a new thing they have added to this. And this yellow box says nuclear weapons. The elevated global threat level increases the risk that nuclear weapons may be used. During attacks in which nuclear, chemical, or biological weapons are used, take cover as you would during an air raid. Civil defense shelters provide the best protection. Radiation levels will lower drastically after a couple of days. I believe those radiation levels, if I remember it correct, it would drastically will be much lower after 72 hours. So, if I remember it correct. And here we have different types of protection. Rudimentary protection. Outside in a pit or ditch, well, it works. If you don't have any other thing.
That's assuming you know something in advance is coming. Like I know they say, you know, they'll broadcast an alarm, something's, you know, launch, but like the Russians have already shown, like they've got some super fast, was it supersonic missiles?
Hypersonic.
Oh, hypersonic, yeah.
Yep. 18 times the speed of sound. The warhead that they shot, that they tested, did not have active warheads. It just had
fireworks,
inertial weapons. So it was just like rods from God, if you ever heard from that. They're just titanium balls or spears that were released, and those things hit the ground at Mach 18. You don't need any kind of a chemical explosion. Just the damage of that kind of weight hitting the ground is enough to mess up the ground within, 200 and 300 yards. It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Really.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the rods from God. The concept, anyway. I think
it's a concept. Yeah,
the United States Navy, at least a while back, like 10 years ago, they were like testing some railgun technology for their naval vessels.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw a lot of the videos.
Yeah, I remember that too. And the next rudimentary protection in a tunnel or next to a wall. Well, is the better option than in take cover in a ditch or pit. And the other is indoors in a room without windows. That is better than in a tunnel. Cellars, garages, or below ground metro stations gives more protection than indoors in a room without windows.
Yeah.
And then you have the civil defense shelters that gives the highest level of protection.
I'm checking out these batteries on this radio. It's like, ooh, boy. One of them's from March of 2017. That's when it expired. And the other one, the Northern Tools battery, looks like it started leaking. I didn't have them in the radio because I knew better than that.
Hey, grumpy old guy, good to see you, buddy.
I've got a funny little story for you guys. I think it was the Second World War in the UK. We're talking about shelters. Always have a plan B. Don't just have one place that you're going to go to. What they did to the people in London, the people tried to get to the underground to escape the bombing, and the underground gates were locked.
Oh, jeez.
So the people couldn't even get to the underground because the people they told them to close the train stations. So the people had to break through the gates of the train station to get down into the underground so they could be protected from the bombing. So I don't know what I'm trying to say is maybe carry some bolt cutters with you if you're going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Just have some, Have some
Okay.
options. You know, what if you get to the place and there's a gate, there's a padlock, there's a fence? You know, I mean, yeah, that one in a ditch, Shadow. That sounds a bit like, you know, yeah. Hey, there's a bomber coming over. Let's get into that ditch.
Makes a lot of sense.
I think these are like basically. Okay, I'll be quiet now, and we'll go to the home
That's
preparedness.
like old school 1950s America, duck and cover.
Yeah.
Oh, in England they tell you to hide underneath a door. I'm surprised Shadow didn't show that picture in the pamphlet, where in England they say to you, in case of I think even a nuclear attack, get a door sideways and hide under that. I mean, seriously, it's a joke. I mean, what you know? Anyway.
Yeah,
Home preparedness.
this is the home preparedness section. We all know what that is. It's water, food, medicine, and things like that. And items you need to keep you warm, and gear you need that can give you some information from radio, like a radio. So that is basically the same as it was in the 2018's.
University 58. Wind northeast
Sorry.
12.
Hey,
This
radio
is the same.
Yeah. The radio works.
Yeah. This is the same thing as it was in the 2018's version. So this is nothing new. This is basically basics. So, and we have mentioned basics a lot. Food, currency, toilet, others. Well, it's the same in the 2018's version. But what's new is evacuation. They didn't mention that in the 2018's version. So I'm glad they put this in, because nobody knows or have any idea on how to do in an evacuation situation. The section evacuation. You may have to quickly evacuate an area in the event of an impending military attack, natural disaster, or a hazardous emissions. Execution instructions will be announced through a variety of channels, including the public service announcement system. Switch on the Swedish public broadcaster, Swedish radio, channel P4, and follow instructions from government authorities. If you are unable to evacuate on your own, assistance will be provided, as well as emergency living quarters and food when you arrive at the secure location. And it says also, things to bring. Make a list of essential belongings if you are required to quickly evacuate and unable to return home for a while. Here are some tips for what to bring. Food and water to last a few days. Photo, ID, debit or credit card, and cash. Medicines and aids, for example, hearing aids. Radio powered by battery, solar panels, or winding mechanism. Warm clothing, water-resistant outwear, and extra sets of clothing. Toiletries and hygiene products, mobile phone and charger, map, compass, important information written on paper, for example, phone numbers and insurance information. So this is the whole new thing they added to the pamphlet. And I think that is a good idea that they did.
Yeah, definitely.
Go
Definitely a
ahead.
good idea to have a bag ready. Some kind of evacuation bag, bug out bag, weekender bag, change of clothing, water, med kit. That's very good. Too many people emphasize on too much on tools in bug out bags. I mean, you might be going just from A to B. Some situations you ain't going to be in the bushes building shelters and cooking.
Yeah. So this information in this section says basically you should have a bob, basically.
Yeah, it's a basic bob. Yeah,
It is a basic bob. It's not the more advanced bob. But I think I like that they put this section in.
Well, yeah.
Because I don't think it is very few who has knowledge on how to do in an evac situation.
If all possible, you want to try to bug in if it's safe to do so. If not, I mean, obviously you want to relocate.
Well, it depends on where you're at. I mean, we've talked about that before. If you're in the city, you ain't bugging out because you and 12 million other people are going to have the same idea to get out. You're bugging in, at least until you can get out, which may be a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you hear it from the broadcasts, they say you need to prepare for evac.
Yeah, I think when the supplies start really, if you're in the city, I think if the supplies start to run low, really low, when I'm talking about how all the shops have been looted, emptied out, everything's gone, then it's time to leave.
Mm-hmm.
That's for me personally, because that's when they're going to start getting a bit more
agitated.
Yes, a bit more violent, a bit more
creative,
more brave. They're going to start wanting to go into people's houses, start wanting to take your stuff. So when you start seeing supplies in the city running low, maybe that's a good time to start thinking about getting out. I mean, if you stay in, it's only a matter of time, especially if you're prepped and stuff, and people cotton on to that you've got stuff. They may well want it.
Yep.
But perhaps have stuff as well already in caches outside of the city. If you're in the city outside of the city, have some stuff stored. Maybe have a bug out bag a bug out location. Do we trust government facilities? How about that one as a question? Do you trust FEMA in America?
No.
Shadow, I mean, do you have any organization? Sorry. You don't trust FEMA?
I've never trusted FEMA. I live too close to most of their facilities. Yeah.
I mean, is there anything like that in Sweden, Shadow? Like any kind of does it mention any kind of places that you can evacuate to specifically, or civil defense?
They probably give you that information when they broadcast in a situation like that. They probably tell you through the radio that your, let's say my area will be evacuated, and you will be evacuated to another area that is much safer, probably. So, and they will probably use buses to evac people. So,
but they could probably coordinate that with text messages from cell towers, knowing your location. They know, that your phone's going to go off saying you need to go to location A right now, and we'll take care of it from there, or something like that. And that's the U.S.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I heard that there's still people after Helen in America still waiting for help.
Yep.
I mean, do we trust the government? On the one hand, they're messing us up. On the other hand, they're giving us information. Do we trust the information they're giving us? They're saying, well,
I'm not going to fully disregard the information. Now, some of it, when it says, pack 3 days worth of stuff, 3 days worth of supplies. I mean, I don't know why the magical number's 3 days, but then again, I guess there's a lot of situations where the bad event could pass over in 3 days, but it seems to me like I would probably, if I'm able to, I'd try to pack more stuff, more supplies if I can, if it's feasible.
Well,
if we're talking about lugging this stuff out on our backs and everything like that in a bag, yeah, you're gonna be limited. I guess I'm thinking more from the standpoint, having a personal vehicle. But I guess a lot of people over there in Europe, they don't have vehicles. They take public transit. I guess that's the difference between there and living out here in the U.S.
Yeah, it depends on where in the U.S. you are at. Also.
Yeah.
I mean, we do everything from the major forests where there's not even a road or a trail, but people live in there, all the way into the dense cities. The big populous areas where, I mean, you got everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
So every decision needs to be different.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'd be skeptical of some of the information. I guess, like I said, I don't know. I wouldn't say completely disregard it. I'd just be, a little wary.
I think our political environment in the States here has determined how we think about trust these days. And who we trust and what we're going to trust because of all the environment that we're in the middle of right now and been there for a little too long.
Well, you can't carry a lot of gear on us, but if we have, if we develop a squirrel mentality where they hide bits of food in different places, so you don't necessarily have to have a big cache. You could have lots of small caches.
Yeah.
Somewhere where you could go somewhere and sustain yourself for a couple of days and then move to another place, and leaving no trace as well. Because again, we trust in the word trust today in the world. I mean, coming from the government or politicians, it's not the same as trusting in a biblical sense, because those people, it's all for the money. They'll step on each other's throat to get a better job. So we're dealing with people that don't even see. They see us as vulgar. They see us as useless eaters. They don't really care about us. We're cattle in some people's eyes. So the best, being like CR said there, you've got to the best help is being prepared before somewhat prepared. I mean, we can't prepare for everything.
Yeah.
But the basics.
No, that's impossible.
We can prepare the basics. We can't, I'm trying to get this wording right. We can't prepare for everything, but we can prepare the basics for everything. In other words, what's the basics for everything? Well, the basics for everything is you're still going to need to eat, shelter, some heat, maybe some food, water, the basics, And in every scenario that might happen, be it war, disease, natural disaster, you're still going to have to do those things. The basics: eat, sleep, have some meat, water.
I agree.
Yeah. And the next section on this is civil defense shelter. You are not designated a specific civil defense shelter. Evacuate to the nearest one. At msb.se, you will find a map pinpointing all shelters in Sweden.
Can I just stop you there? Sorry, Shadow. Sorry. It says there, it doesn't say if you are not designated a specific civil defense. He said you are not designated a.
Yeah,
You are not
just go somewhere.
designated.
Civil defence
Uh,
shelter. You are not
so that
designated
means
a specific civil defence shelter.
no. You have to take the nearest one that
My
is
God.
closest to you.
Sorry to cut you there.
A shelter should have water and basic toilet facilities. If you have time, bring something to eat, warm clothes, and toiletries. Be prepared to stay in the shelter for a few days. During peacetime, shelters may be used for other activities. However, they are required to be reset and available within 48 hours. Should the need arise during the heightened state of alert, the property owner is obliged to ensure that the shelter is properly prepared. Shelters are marked with a sign, a blue triangle inside
Orange.
an orange
square.
triangle. Yeah, orange square, yeah. So that means it says that is a civil defense shelter, basically.
I think the one thing we're not really even touching on here, which is interesting because we are who we are, is this brochure I'm thinking was just, it was made for the general educated public. The ones who are educated enough to just be able to go to work and do their daily routines and do everything. And it's, oh, if something happens, just go here. And they're like, oh, okay, great. But people like us are just like, yeah, no, I'm not going there. I mean, I might, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
It's just that. I mean, I understand it. It's because 99% of the general public, you know, they got maybe 2 days worth of assorted food goods in their house and refrigerator and stuff, maybe 3 or 4, depending on if it was on sale that week. And some of us have a little bit more than that. And we were already kind of ready for stuff like that. So this is just a general overview of what to do, where to go, and how to do it for the general populace, which I get it. I understand you need that.
And the other thing that is new they have added to this pamphlet is psychological defense. It says foreign powers and others outside Sweden use disinformation, misinformation, and propaganda to influence us. Attempts to influence us primarily through online platforms and social media occur on a daily basis. The goal of these actions is to sow mistrust and erode our will to defend ourselves. Those seeking to influence us may do so in the following ways: spreading lies, false narratives, or stories that are partially true but taken out of context, manufacturing fake images, videos, or voice recordings, attempts to
Elicit strong
elicit
emotions. Yeah.
strong emotions related to certain issues or events to heighten a sense of worry or suspicion towards each other. How you can contribute to our collective resilience? Be mindful of content that elicits a strong reaction. Only share information you know comes from reliable sources. Try to verify information from several different sources. Get verification from official government sources when something serious has happened. And
I think
this
the
is
second one there. The only share information you know comes from a reliable source. Well, that's great. That doesn't really apply here in the States because half our news media doesn't tell the truth anyway. So I wouldn't believe anything they say.
good point. That's a good point.
Hey, Dioris, what part of the country are you in? Like east, west, north, south, central?
I live out in West Texas.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I'm out here in the Pennsylvania greater area next to every single blue colored state there is.
Yeah, I have one of my buddies who lives in Colorado now. He came from Pennsylvania.
Not a bad place, depending on where you're at.
Yeah. I was in Gettysburg back in, I want to say, I think it was May of 2017, when Antifa and Black Lives Matters were starting to go down there to start defacing the war memorials and the graves of the fallen soldiers. And it's
Yeah,
like,
that didn't go very far.
no, none of them came out, but the counter protest did come out, and I was part of the counter protest.
Yeah, they knew, dude, you are entering. If you want to do that in downtown Philly, knock yourself out. You're fine. Do that out in the country area where the Civil War stuff was and all that, and we're all a bunch of rednecks out here. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea because we know the bus schedules and we know where they're coming from and what route they take.
Yeah. Like I said, there was two guys that were, that were not, like I said, I would say they were kind of misguided or anything. Yeah, like I said, they were, I don't know, like they were definitely leftists, but they weren't the violent types. Or either that, or they just didn't want to show any outward aggression because they knew they were outnumbered.
Gettysburg is a leftist town anyway, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, but there was a lot of there were a lot of people out there. Hell, there was another guy out there that had InfoWars sticker on his vehicle.
There's a bunch of those. They're stuck on telephone poles out here.
Yeah, it was fun. Like I said, I was in the Navy back then when I went out there because, like I said, I was stationed up in Connecticut, and because it was a 4-day weekend, I was able to get permission from my command to go drive down here. It was barely within the limits of
3 hours or something, or 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Oh no, it was not 2.5 hours. That was like a 400-mile drive.
Oh. Oh, I know where you're on You're on the coast of Connecticut. Okay.
Yeah.
And the next section that also is new in this pamphlet. This is something they have added to it. Digital security. Digitalization can make us vulnerable to cyber attacks that knocks out critical IT systems. You play a part in strengthening Sweden's resilience by handling information in a safe and secure way, both at home and at work. Tips to get started. Create strong passwords that use a combination of letters, numbers, and symbols. Don't click on links in emails or open attachments from unknown senders. Install security updates immediately. Perform regular backups of important information to an external hard drive, USB drive, or cloud service.
And then throw everything in a Faraday bag. Keep it from on it then.
Yeah, that would be a great idea. And you take it out from it when you need it. And put it back. So this is one of the new things they have added to this pamphlet.
Those anti-static bags.
Yeah, even the old, you remember the old Kodak lead bags for going to the airport so they didn't x-ray your film? Those work. Even Mylar bags work. I got a bunch of, a whole lot of Mylar bags for my freeze dryer. But I tried it once when we sent that. I think it was beginning of the year. They were testing our emergent EAS system for the first time, and everybody was freaked out. So I stuck one of my phones in 2 Mylar bags, wrapped it in a paper towel, threw it in a Mylar bag, sealed it up, threw it in another Mylar bag, sealed it up, never went off. Now, 2 hours later when I opened it, it went off because it finally caught the signal. I'm like, oh, that was worthless, but okay.
If it works, it works.
I'll take it. That and ammo cans.
Yeah. I think there was like a saying from the Army: if it's dumb, if it's dumb and it works, it's not dumb.
It's right. It still works. What do they call ammo cans or men's Tupperware? That's it.
Yeah.
I've got buttloads of ammo cans.
I live right near one of the bases here that supplies everything. You can probably figure out where that is in Pennsylvania. And there's stores. There's guys on the roadside literally with truckloads of ammo cans for, your standard, 50 cal can going for like $5. And they're in great shape. Nothing wrong with them. A couple of little rust dots here and there, but everything all the way up to the missile totes. And those things are monstrous. For like $40, I'm like, I have no use for that, nor do I have a place to put it.
Well, like I said, I would like to get, like I said, I've got like a really tall ammo can. It looks like a 50 cal. In fact, it uses a 50 cal ammo can lid, but these held mortars in them.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, those are selling those too. Yep.
Yeah. I would like to get, like I said, I'm not talking about specifically those. They got like bigger ammo cans than that. I'd like to get some just bigger ones that way I can store sensitive vehicle parts in them. So that way I've got means of restoring a vehicle back to, drivable condition.
You mean like an extra PCM for your old vehicle where the only computer in the vehicle is that one PCM? Yeah. One of those.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to get, depending on what year your vehicle was made, you'd have to get possibly get a starter motor and possibly get an alternator too, because the alternators, they got the diodes in them.
Yeah, the alternators, and then you got your whole wiring harness. So there's that.
Wire harness might be okay, but it depends on, I guess it all depends on how fine the wires in question are.
Yeah. And that 60-pin connector on your PCM, it may be worthless. So time to go back to the carbureted vehicles.
Yeah. That's getting to be,
it's
getting to be the age of the dinosaur now. I mean, there's a lot of quote unquote experts out there, at least as far as like the American preppers were saying, you want to get a vehicle that's 1974 or older. That way you can guarantee it's pre any electronics.
Oh yeah, except for the alternator and the and your distributor. And you can keep a spare one of those in a box, and you're good to go. 20 minutes, you're good.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't think a distributor would be affected by it.
Your points of condenser would be. Sorry, I'm old, and I still have my kits and things and tools, and that's why I'm called Chef Tech, because I was a chef and a Ford Tech. So there is that.
The next section in this pamphlet is terror attacks. This section is also new. And I think it's a good idea that they put it in here. It says, terror attacks and armed aggression can be directed at people or vital infrastructure, such as transport systems or electrical grid. If you are affected, act immediately. Run, get far away from the location, if you can. Hide, lock yourself in a room or hide if you can't run away. Put your phone on silent mode. Call 112, it's our emergency number, and report what has happened. Things to consider. Only call if you need to request help so as not to overload the network.
That's kind of backwards from the tell part. Call and tell us what happened. Then it says only call if you need help. Don't know. Pick one.
Yeah. Follow instructions from the police, rescue services, and government agencies. Do not spread rumors or unverified information about what is happening. Do not call anyone who may be in danger. You might reveal their hiding place. And I think that is a good idea not to do it.
I'll be right back.
So this is totally new information, and most people has no idea on what to do if that happens. So it's good that they put this in the pamphlet.
Yeah, iodine tablets are good there. I see people saying get potassium iodine, protect yourself from radiation. Good idea. In England, we got this 21-foot rule. If you're within 21 feet. I think it's 21 feet or 30 feet. If you're within that, you can sort of, if you can, I don't know, defend against a terrorist, you can do so. If you're outside of that range, then you have, by law, get away, run away. It's slightly different in Sweden.
Yeah. And the next, that this is also new. They added to this pamphlet. This was not in the 2018's pamphlet. How to stop a bleeding.
Jeez.
Well, that's the most important thing, to stop a bleeding. You don't want anyone bleed to death, because that would not be a fun experience. How to stop bleeding. Make sure you and the injured person are safe before assisting them. This is how you stop severe bleeding. Phone emergency services or 112, or ask someone else to phone them. Apply direct firm pressure on the wound with your arms extended in on outstretched position, preferably using a bunched up t-shirt or scarf or similar item, if you don't have anything else. If you became fatigued or require assistance, ask someone to apply pressure on top of your hands. Maintain pressure until the ambulance arrives and the paramedics say that you can release pressure. So
here's a tip that I learned in Boy Scouts in the mid-70s, before there were cell phones, and now things are worse. If somebody falls down and you jump to the ground to try to help them out, and there's a crowd of people gathering, and you just yell out, "Somebody call 911." Guess what? Chances of, or 7, in your case, 112. Chances of somebody doing it are slim, because nobody's held accountable. But if you turn and look at somebody and point the finger at Shadow and say, "You call 911," guess what? The whole crowd just looked at you, and you better call. And you run to the payphone or whatever at the time, and you do that. And the same thing applies today. Somebody has an accident, they trip, they wipe out on their bicycle, get hit by a car or something. The crowd gathers and everybody whips out their cell phones to get their latest video uploaded, a live feed or whatever. And you just start screaming, "Somebody call 911. Ain't nobody calling 911. They want to get this one on their live stream and get the most hits around or likes. And that's the problem. It was always a problem. It's just worse today. So if you're ever in a place where you're trying to assist and everybody's starting to gather a crowd, literally just look at somebody and point at them. Say, "You call 911." At that point, everybody else just saw that I just pointed at Shadow. He better call 911, because now you're accountable there, brother.
Yeah, that is how I have learned as well. So next section is also new. They have added to it. This one was not in the 2018's pamphlet. Extreme weather events. Extreme weather events, including heavy rain, floods, and heavy heat waves, are becoming increasingly common. The risk of natural disasters such as landslides or forest fires is also on the rise. Take the following steps to increase your preparedness in support of government authorities. Find information through your municipality's website or msb.se about the risk of and preparedness for landslides, erosion, and flooding where you live. Visit msb.se or emergencyinformations.se to get advice on how to prepare for extreme weather. Find out if there is a fire ban in your area before you ignite a fire or grill. Information is available at crisis information, and other websites. Pay attention to the weather forecast and download apps that provide weather warnings. For example, crisisinformation.se and the Swedish public broadcaster, Swedish Radio, and SMAHI weather. All issued warnings should be taken seriously. And now we have an exclamation mark here. In case of extreme weather events or natural disasters, switch on the Swedish public broadcaster, Swedish Radio, channel P4 to get information on further instructions. For example, if you need to boil your tap water or if your area needs to be evacuated. So this is totally new for this pamphlet. So I like that they put this in too as well. That's a good thing. And also the new thing is pathogens. Infectious diseases can spread quickly and cause major outbreaks. If an infectious disease has begun to spread, government agencies will provide recommendation on how to protect yourself and others. Stay up to date on information from your municipality, your regional infectious disease specialist, and government agencies. Help reduce the spread of the disease by following the recommendations from government agencies. And this is also new if you require special assistance. Individuals who currently receive special assistance from their municipality will continue to receive assistance in the event of crisis or war. However, you must still observe emergency preparedness practices in accordance with your specific needs. Talk to your family, friends, neighbors, assistants, or care administrator about what help you may require. Make a crisis emergency plan that also includes important information about things like prescription medicines and other medical aids. Prepare for transport to a shelter or other protected areas. Use your phone's accessibility features to receive the most important information. If you're hearing impaired, use the app from crisisinformation.se and switch on notifications to receive public service announcements. If you're visually impaired, use text-to-speech tools or screen readers to receive information from government authorities. Guide dogs or service dogs are allowed in civil defense shelters. So this one is also new. And this section was not in the old pamphlet either. And we also have the next section, which also they have added to it. This was not in the old pamphlet, so they have added this. If you have pets, which most of us have, if it's cats, dogs, parrots, or whatever you have, if you have pets, you are responsible for the care and well-being of your pet in the event of crisis or war. Make sure you have supplies at home to last at least a week. In the event of an air raid, you may bring your pet to protective structures like cellars, garages, and metro stations if you must leave your pet at home, and it can manage free access to food, leave additional food and water. Good to keep at home. Dry food and water in storage containers, medicines for the animal, a cage or other way to transport the animal, handwritten phone numbers to your veterinarian, insurance information, and ID number. And the exclamation mark says, if you own horses or livestock, more information about emergency preparedness is available at our, yeah, I don't know the English word for it, but it says it's an they are responsible for the agriculture and things like that. That's a governmental
Okay, I've got a question for you, Shadow, or
Yep.
something for us all to sort of think about. With these pamphlets and information being brought out to people, and I just wanted to know, is there possibilities for people who are trying to help others to get into trouble because they're trying to help others? For example, you further back you mentioned about shelters, and it's got to have an orange box and a triangle within it.
Yeah.
And if you set up a temporary shelter, can you get into trouble? You know, are they sort of laying out sort of things within the pamphlet to be aware of as well? I mean, is there chances, like for example, in America, FEMA was actually taking the supplies of people that were trying to bring in supplies to help people in the affected areas, and they were stopped by FEMA from going in.
They did that because the supplies were not approved by FEMA. Meanwhile, it was just food and water and stuff for people, and people would have eaten it. It's just canned goods, but it has to be FEMA. So I don't know if there's the same thing. That's what you're asking about over there. It's like we have laws over here too. They use Good Samaritan law, where if you stop on the side of the road to help somebody in an accident and they die or get hurt or are still hurt, they used to be able to just sue you. It's like, well, I would have been fine, but you touched me, therefore it's your fault that I now had to have my leg cut off. So the Good Samaritan laws came into effect, and you still got to fight it because there's still people out there that are going to blame everybody for everything. Meanwhile, they're looking at their cell phone while they're driving. So there's that. Yeah, liability.
Yeah, I'd be very careful as well if you're going to try and help other people to be aware. You know that say for example, if you take a load of supplies somewhere, it might be taken off you, or you might get into trouble because you set up a temporary shelter and you don't have the red box and the triangle, and someone died in your shelter, and you know you're not fit, you shouldn't be doing it, you shouldn't have done a shelter. I don't know, I'm trying to get a question out, or you know, how do we avoid getting in trouble in these times as well?
That is a good question.
Like CR said, is like, that's why not too many people help out now. It's like it used to be. It's like, see something, say something. Sure, but don't do anything, because if you do something, you're probably going to get in more trouble than the guy or person you're trying to stop from doing something. I mean, we see that on the news everywhere, all over the world, especially over in your neck of the woods, DR. And it's like, yeah, don't do anything, because if you do something, nope, it's your fault now, and they're coming after you.
Yeah, they should have something in the leaflet as well for anybody that are wishing to help. You know, here's more information. Go here, go there. You know, maybe you might have to be registered, a registered sort of alternative shelter, or Yeah, so just I think someone in this country got in trouble because he tried to help someone, and then I think the person wasn't happy, but he cut off his trousers or something stupid like that. We said, "Well, I thought your leg needed attention, so I just cut off your trousers." Anyway, just think twice before you. Vanessa's asking, so robbery exists in a disaster zone? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's robbery. It's a disaster zone because we're all getting robbed.
Yeah. Well,
Looting. I mean, our governments are the biggest robbers, gangs, looters. I mean, and they've got the cheek to say the little people on the ground who are trying to get something to survive with. I was being sarcastic. I know you was. I know. Yeah.
I was thinking of calling 911 on Thursday when I get my paycheck to tell them I've been robbed. All the taxes they collect. But I think they'd be like, yeah, well, welcome to the world.
Oh, yeah. I think maybe we should just go and try and arrest Rothschilds.
Yeah, good luck with that.
And Rockefeller.
One of them just died in California.
Yeah, but it's still they breed really fast.
Yeah, they're rabbits.
And they keep it within the family. Ha 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 ha. Yes, we keep love. We keep love in the family. Yeah. Ha, 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 yeah. We keep money in the family, and we keep love in the family. Yeah. I mean, you get nieces marrying uncles, and
got to keep that bloodline.
8 million children worldwide going missing every year. 20,000 in Australia. How many in America? 100,000 children going missing every year.
Oh, that's what they tell you about. Notice that we used to have it on the on our milk cartons. Have you seen me? The little picture of the boy, girl, whatever. Yes, yeah, they stopped doing that because there wasn't enough milk cartons in the world to print all the pictures.
And where are they going? I mean, you're hearing stories about something happened somewhere, and then 100 children go missing.
Yeah, out of nowhere, they just disappeared right off the face of the earth.
Oh, Haiti. Oh, some children disappeared. I mean, how do we do the investigation? How does someone like me follow up on that? How do I investigate? Find? I mean, we're dealing. We can't unless we get together. But again, these guys have got everything. The communications, they got it. They've got the media. They've got the TV. They've got Hollywood. They've got everything under wraps. They've got their little hidden hand symbols.
Yeah, it's a system. They've been set up for millennia.
Yeah, I was gonna say nowadays there's probably a lot more children missing over here, given the illegal border crossings.
Yep. It's like 90,000 a month or something. They just bring them over. They shuttle them in and hand them off to just people with no papers. Like, yeah, that's his dad right there. Here, and the guy just disappears. We got nobody here cares. They're not doing anything about it. And if you try, you get arrested.
Yeah, they turn around. You hear the stupid in the same breath. Just think of the children. Like especially when they're talking about gun control laws over here. I was like, I'm sorry, the only gun control that I'm aware of is using 2 hands.
Yeah, don't pull and keep the safety on until needed. Yeah.
I think the pamphlet now is trying to help us. The pamphlet now is saying, if you are worried.
Yeah. Don't be worried. You got the.
This is also a new section they put in. This was not in the old pamphlet from 2018. If you are worried, uncertain times can make people feel worried and anxious. Here are some tips on how to manage your anxiety. Talk to family, friends, neighbors, or mental health organization about your feelings. It can help you feel less alone. Get involved, for example, by helping others improve their emergency preparedness. This can give you a sense of purpose. Take care of your personal health. Good food, sleep, and physical exercise relieve stress and improve well-being. Restrict your news intake. Find a level that works for you and spend more time doing things that make you feel good. Seek professional help if you have severe anxiety. And they have a sub section to this, talking to children about crisis and war. Children of various ages express worry in different ways. Be present and pay attention to signs of stress or concern. Explain the situation to the child. Listen and invite to a conversation. Only talk about verified information. Avoid unnecessary details. If you don't have all the answers, be honest and admit it. Plan activities with the child to help shift their focus. So this is a totally new thing they put in and added to this pamphlet. And I think that is actually a good thing. They did the right thing to put this in.
But yeah, because a lot of people are going to be freaking out. A lot of people are going to be out of their comfort zone all of a sudden. They can't go to the planned pub trip on the weekend because now as wars broke out, pubs closed. They can't go to McDonald's now. They can't go to get their chocolate eclairs. People are going to be freaking out. What's going on? People uncertain.
What? People can't go out and go get their Mackies?
Oh no. They can't go shopping. They can't go and meet up with their friends. A lot of people are going to be in shock,
Yeah, people in Philadelphia be banging on the Starbucks door going, "Why are you closed?"
Oh, wow. Oh, is that Kensington Avenue? Talking to children about crisis and war. If you don't have all the answers, be honest and admit it. Children, we're getting bombed on, and we may die. Poor
Don't
kids.
worry, we'll be together either way.
Yeah, we're put on. Yeah, that's true. I think people should start practice using their stuff from now. If you've got like a little gas stove, practice with it. Put it on. Take days. Start doing it from now. Sort of practicing every week where you say, right, on a Wednesday, I'm going to turn the gas off, electric off, and I'm going to go a day without that, and I'm going to use my stuff, and work with it, practice with it. Some people have got a camping stove in their bug out bag, never used it. Imagine when you go out to use it in an emergency situation, you're like, yeah, don't worry, I've got a stove here. You pull it out, and it's not working.
Yeah, it's not working, or you're missing a key part for it.
Or you're missing a part. Yeah, I mean,
I've got a couple of these. I forget the brand. It's like Tex something, spelled TEX. I forget. I think it's called Tex Tool or something like that. I got a couple of those single burner propane stoves, and I found out I can't really have those like out in the open where the wind can just whip across them because they don't have like a heat shield to prevent the flames from either getting blown out or prevent the heat from getting blown away from your pan. So I found out, I had to surround it with either aluminum foil or put it in an area where it's like semi-sheltered.
Is that one of those butane? Not what DR's holding, but or DS. Yeah, the stove you're talking about. They have like a butane can. Looks like a spray can.
Yep, I know the ones.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those. Those are terrible in the cold.
Yeah,
and they're even worse because the butane cans freeze up like quick.
That's the reason why I opted to use propane.
Yep.
Have different options. Like CR was saying there, I got in my kit a little fold out stove, lightweight titanium. So, I generally have sort of three ways. One is the little gas stove I just showed you. Then I'll have the wooden stove, and then I've got a little Trangia type where you put alcohol in it.
Yeah.
And also my fireplace here, I can take the gas fire out in an emergency. I can take the gas fire out, and the flue behind it is still clear. I've still got a chimney, so if worse comes to, if it gets really bad, I can use that as a fireplace.
Yeah.
That's good. That's awesome.
But yeah, definitely check your stuff out. Make sure you got all your batteries charged up. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting pamphlet.
Yeah. And yes, they have phone numbers and websites. So that's
I wouldn't take everything in there as gospel, but yeah, I wouldn't like discard that information.
No, like I said, I think that's more for the 99% who really don't know anything other than what they see on the news, and it's just for them to feel.
hey Bob 942. Good to see you, brother.
Which is suspicious because it's like it's like, you know, they're funneling people into these places.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't trust none. I mean, yes, get the information. I mean, maybe go and see what it's like, but be very careful as well, because you know we're going to have all sorts. People might want, you know, you might be the only one in the hall with paracetamol tablets, and they're going to be gone within minutes. So your pills are gone, your band-aids are gone, because most people don't prepare. You know, so once you start putting, if you pull out your little gas stove and you start cooking sausages, and there's hungry people there, I'm not saying, you know, be selfish, but obviously, just remember that, you know, there might be 50 people there, and you know, how many people have told me, "Oh, if anything happens, we're going to come round your
Hey
house."
Bob.
Hey,
Bob.
Bob.
Hello.
Hey, just at that moment, I was saying, Bob, we've got to be careful with people come. You know, how many people have said, "In case of emergency, we'll come round your house"?
Oh, I've heard that.
And then Bob,
Yeah, I've heard that.
Bob came on.
Yeah, I've heard that before, and I look right at him and say, "No, you're not." What I usually say, an easy way out of that one is I say, "Why? I'm not going to be home."
Yeah, I won't. Yeah,
Yeah.
we tell people to be prepared, and they make jokes out of it. Oh, okay then. So in the meantime, I'm just going to still, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
And then when the crap hits the fan, I'm going to come round your house. You know, you're not doing all that stuff. But if it does happen, you know, I'll come round your house.
Yeah, I've also added in, you know, I just usually the fast way out is I say, well, I'm not going to be home. I'm not going to be here. And then roll it right into now is your time to begin doing something yourself, because I'm not going to help you.
Yep.
And the question is, what has these people been doing all their time anyway in life? I mean, what has everybody been doing with their time and money? What have they been? I mean, if life ain't about prepping, I mean, surely prepping should be part of our life. I mean, it has been for centuries. You know, in Greece, our families used to work in the summer, prepare for the
Hey
winter.
Krista, good to see you,
In
man.
England, people did that. In Sweden, people did it. In America, people do it.
Same.
Everywhere around the world, people sort of prep for the summer or prep for the winter.
Yep. I think what a lot of people in my area anyway who don't have got hung up in that trap of drugs and alcohol, especially alcohol. It's everywhere. Once they begin daily drinking, there goes all their money. It's gone. It's gone. Yeah. Now, in my situation, some of you guys are familiar with the neighbors that I've got. I fully expect them, if something really hardcore goes on, I fully expect them to be at my door. Fully expect it.
Yeah.
And, you know, no, you know, I won't even answer the door if they come to the door, you know. And if you try to come in the house, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, if you try to come in, you're just not going to leave on your own devices.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What does the Queen do when the Queen or the King, they have a flag Is it half mast when they're home or full mast? Maybe have a flag outside. I'm not home, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't
I've
come
told
here.
so many people that same thing for years.
Yeah.
Because back way back, I always had stuff, and we talk about it because back then it didn't seem like a big deal. And yeah. Well, if something happens, I'm just coming to your house. I was like, and same thing. I'm like, why? I won't be home. Where are you gonna go? I said, away.
Yeah. You're gonna go to the airport.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to the FEMA center. I'll meet you there.
Here's a question for all preppers: do we contradict ourselves when we say, "Oh, I've got first aid kit just in case I bump into someone who might need help," and I've got a bit of extra food here, or I've got this item in my bug out bag, and if someone needs it, I'm going to help them. So what I'm trying to get at is, are we confused? Do we want to help people, or do we not want to help people? When we're saying now, well, if anyone comes around, I'm not letting them in.
Well, that's the conundrum. It's okay. I want to be godly. I want to be all this stuff. I want to help people, but
I got my limits.
Yeah, I got my limits too.
It's situational.
That's what I was trying to complete your sentence there. I got my limits.
Yeah, it's situational.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that was what I was going to say. It really depends on how bad, what the situation is.
Yeah.
And if it's a short term, it's short term. That's one thing. If it's going long term, and we would kind of,
or it's going to get a lot worse. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like no.
The very best piece of advice I can give to you guys. Okay, my wife is from the southern Philippines. She grew up in shit hit the fan back in martial law years with all that. She lived through it, and this is the best piece of advice I can give to you. This is her stand on it, and I agree. No one comes in the house unless they are a direct blood relative.
Yeah.
Period. Nobody else comes in the house for any circumstances ever, because once you open that door and let them in, they're going to take root like a tree.
Yeah, so there's definitely a limit on what one can do. I mean, obviously, if there's women and children involved, it becomes a bit more difficult because, there's a woman, it's a child. But again, realizing as well that they could be used.
Yes.
That's my concern.
Exactly.
So you've got to be very careful. How many people have seen the famous scenario? You're driving on the motorway, you're driving on a road, there's a lone girl sitting there on her own, and she's hitchhiking. So you think, I'll pick her up, and then her boyfriend comes from the forest or whatever, quickly jumps into the car. Oh yeah, I'm here as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now they do worse ones where they girl stranded on the side of the road with a car with the hood up, holding a baby, and you're in the middle of nowhere, and you pull over. Hey, you get out of the car. That's your last thing you want to do. If you get out of the car, you better have your keys with you. And all of a sudden, two people jump out from behind the car and they just rob you and leave you out, and then they drive their car off and your car. Now you got
one of the sergeants I was stationed with when I was in the Air Force, exact same situation happened to him. We were stationed in Las Vegas, and then his parents retired in a small city up north, in a vast open desert between the two cities. So he took a few days of leave and he drove up to go see his parents. And there was a car that was off the side of the road. There was a woman standing there with a towel, a bloody rag on her forehead. It looked like a bloody rag. So he pulled over to give help. And she's here on the driver's side of his Jeep, and he heard someone coming up from the other side, somebody coming out of the desert to his passenger side. He took his 38 and stuck it in her chest and said, "You tell your buddy to back off or I'll fucking kill you right now." And he took off. And she took no, get this. She took that bloody rag off. She had no cut on her head. It was like paint.
Yeah.
They do that shit, dude.
Mm-hmm. I believe
Take note, guys and girls, what we're talking about. Think twice. Always be ahead. But don't forget to keep your heart, keep your humanity at the same time. But be aware, be very wise.
Don't let them in your house. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also, when talking about your supplies, what you've got, you might say to someone, someone might be in need of something. So rather than to say, "Oh yeah, I've got like 15 boxes at home," you could say something like, "Oh, I know someone who's got some of that.
Yeah.
I can maybe get you a little bit of that.
A little bit of misdirection,
Yeah.
calculated misdirection.
I might be able to get you a can of this somewhere over there. I might know someone. But if you start telling people you've got stuff in your house, just be aware.
Yeah, it's the knock on the door with the baby saying, "Can you help me? My baby's hungry." And as soon as you open the door all the way, 4 other people come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
or you feed them one time and they come back 2 hours later saying,
Yep.
"Hey, my neighbor's baby. Hey, this baby. Hey, me and my friend." It's like, yeah, no. And now they know you got stuff, so that's
Yeah.
that's
I'm like I said,
because
kind of.
they spent all their time and money keeping up with the Joneses. I must have the latest trainers, must have the latest phone, must have the latest car, must have the latest dress, and then they're broke, you know, and they've not been putting their money into the right
broke
thing,
and they're in debt,
and they're in debt with a credit card, and they've only got 2 days of supply at home because, you know, they used it. They go to McDonald's or they get takeaways or they you know, they never sort of prep. You say to people, when you go shopping, every week you go shopping, get an extra couple of tins of baked beans or get some bags of rice or get some
soup or something.
Soup, pasta, just extra, and just put them somewhere in the house, forget about them. And after 6 months, you do that every week, you're going to have a nice pantry full of different supplies if you're smart.
Better yet,
and, you know,
better supplies that you would eat.
Exactly, because you can't eat your Gucci shoes. You can't have your Nike tracksuit bottoms for dinner. You know, so, you know, wear outdoor clothing from now, like wear cargo trousers, wear something that's going to last. You know, you could be going to work, you could be going to anywhere, and something might happen. I mean, I'm you know, we're literally in that time now where, you know, people say, "Oh, when's the Third World War going to start?" And then if you say to people in Ukraine, they know it's already started. You know, the other places, it's already started. I mean, people are waiting literally till the war comes home for them to do anything. And of course, by that time, it's going to be too late to start prepping. A lot of people didn't have hand sanitizers. Many people didn't have, when the COVID came along, a lot of people didn't have face masks. The £1 face mask on the internet went to £10 for that £1 masks. You know, people are profiteering from it as well.
Yeah,
so
they're scalping. Yep, they're scalping that stuff online.
You know, we're dealing with a very.
I'll be right back.
We're dealing with a very greedy world. People, the Bible says, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Of course, you know, people want money so they can get stuff. I mean, how do you feel comfortable? For example, if someone's a mercenary, he goes out to kill someone, he makes a couple of million, whatever, and he's now in the house that he's bought by murdering someone. Now he's watching the telly that he's bought from the money that he killed someone. I mean, how do these people sort of live? Like, you know, and you know, well, I don't care. I got my telly. I killed someone, but I got a nice telly out of it.
That's the consumer world we live in.
Yeah.
I need money to buy stuff. That's it.
So basically, this is the mentality of this mad elite people. They need stuff. I need a yacht. I need a jet. I need a Bentley. I need maids. I need servants. This is what I want. I want this. Imagine Charlie, King Charlie. He was signing a piece of paper, and it was a chore for him to use the pen and sign the paper. If you find a video on YouTube and you see him, he's like, "Oh, I detest these things. Oh, oh, oh!" And someone had to take it off him, give him something to clean his hands. They were cleaning the pen, and he go, "I absolutely detest those things," like as if it was a shovel that he was digging in the ground.
Yeah.
Like a labourer could say, "I hate shovels. I hate digging." So for Charlie, we're talking about people that love stuff.
Yeah,
So
and greed knows no limit. No limit. Greed knows, and that's a sin. Greed is a sin.
Charlie is behind a lot of this stuff that's going on. He's new. got 17 goals for sustainable living. They want to bring the population down. They want to get everybody on electric cars. It's crazy. They're crazy. So yeah, we do need to be prepared because all this stuff. It's not just exercises. The pamphlets are coming to Sweden. Other countries are getting told to. Americans are being told to be prepared by FEMA. Get these bags and get this bag sorted out in case of emergency.
Yeah. That's been normalized here in the U.S. You know.
Yep.
But it's only smart. But best advice I can give to any of you guys is let no one inside your house for any reason. That came from my wife, who grew up in shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Let no one come into your house, you know, because she's seen it go bad, bloodshed, man.
Yeah.
You know?
You're telling me about how it took everybody, it took her mom, her sister, and herself to push that one bloody guy out through the front door who managed to bust his way through.
That was a Filipina that I worked with. She lived up in Cavite, and some guy came to the door in the middle of the night and he's covered in blood. They got me. And her father was out of the house, and you can't travel at night during martial law. And it was, her pregnant mom and the brothers and sisters in the house. And the guy tried pushing his way inside the house. He's covered. Somebody stabbed him, shot him, whatever. And they all had to gang up and push this guy back out of the house. Shit like that happens, man. That was another lady, another Filipino that I know.
Okay, so that wasn't your wife; it was somebody else. Okay.
No. But where my wife was living, it was even worse. It was death in the streets, man.
Yeah.
That what I'll give you like example. The food was so short because the communist insurgents were killing the truck drivers coming from the farm fields into the cities, and they're cutting the food off. And Jesus, you know, she said she got 1 cup of rice a day.
Damn.
That's it, man. No shoes, nothing, you know.
How long did that last?
Years.
Oh man.
Years.
Jeez.
Yeah, she's not even 5 feet tall because she had very little to eat. I saw one picture of her when she was little, when she was growing up. Skinny, emaciated young lady sitting in a plastic lawn chair, just, you know, but yeah.
Kind of like a Holocaust survivor in ways. Sounds like.
Right. Almost, yeah. But she said that they did have the military was able to bring food in for them, but the military's hungry too. Those soldiers have to eat.
Oh yeah.
So they went through and grabbed all the good food, and then what's left over, Mongol beans, rice, sardines, that went to the population.
Problem is the military gets greedy. They not only take the food, they kill the driver and ruin the truck. Now no more food is coming from the farm that's still growing stuff. Then nobody can get the food now.
Yeah,
get to the farm, which is its own problem, and that's even the military will do that to you. Not that in the beginning, maybe not, but as time goes on, as even military people start to get desperate in the ranks, you know, the truck driver doesn't want to give it up because he needs to get his stuff there, so they kill him. Now you got nobody to drive the truck, or they blow the truck up or disable it. Now that truck's just sitting in the middle of the road blocking it.
Yeah, it's like the story of the couple, you know, that I think it's like an old fable or whatever. The people that these peasants that were living on a farm, they had, you know, they discovered one of their geese were laying golden eggs, and instead of letting the goose live and continue to lay some more golden eggs, they killed the goose to try to get the golden egg out of it.
Yeah, figures. Yeah. But one thing that people you need to consider too is during those, they were trying to take over. The communists were trying to take over, and the communists had comrade commissars, the brainwashers and enforcers in their city, and you were required to go to their meetings. You're required, so you've got to learn how to play both sides of the fence, or else you're not going to survive. Like an example is, they had a little meeting house, which is a little chapel, and they bring the teenagers in there and educate them on how the Americans are screwing you over and all that. And one young man stood up and walked out. Well, the leader of the seminar the first thing he'd do is he'd take out a 45 and lay it on the table.
Bear, come.
And one young man walked out and he was killed instantly. He was shot right in the head, right outside the chapel. And then the guy came back in and continued the seminar. So if something like that happens in your situation, you've got to play both sides of the fence. You've got to be in favor of the government, and you've also got to be in favor of, but keep what's in your heart inside of you. You've got to keep your mouth shut. You have to keep your mouth shut.
The only way I'm going to personally learn how to play both sides is if I am physically disarmed, because then you've got to play the game.
Yeah, then you have.
If I'm armed, I mean, I've got the option. I'm just going to openly rebel. I don't care. I'd rather die with my boots on than, you know.
Yeah, they were. My wife's family was. Yeah, my wife's family was disarmed. Yeah.
I'll be back in a minute.
All right.
Well, I got to cut the grass in a little bit, so I thought I'd show.
Well, that's what I was doing. I was cutting the grass, and I happened to look on the phone. I was like, "Oh, Shadow's on." I hadn't been on over here in a few months just because I've been driving trucks.
Mm-hmm. Are you still working the power grid thing, or
I don't even know if that's going to materialize. Like it's been over a year and a half. I'm getting to a point where. Come next May, if I still don't get hired on for utility work or anything like that, I'm gonna just turn around, sell all my line tools, and get my money back.
Yeah,
because that's like $5,000 worth of line tools and books for it's specialized tools for really no other work, no other jobs.
Mm-hmm. No, sorry to hear that. I was hoping you're going to get on there full time.
I was too. I was hoping at the very least get substation work. You know, I've been all right. Yeah. You know, if I was like a substation operator or something like that, because they still make some pretty good money. They don't make insane amounts of money like a journeyman lineman would, but they still live very, very comfortably.
Well, for me, you know what projects I'm doing right now is I do simple things all the time. Like, you know, it's hard to see it on the camera, but here, I'll turn the cameras. I'm making these, see these little, I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah, they're hanging from the ceiling.
Right. That's kindling and also wood for my paint can cook stove.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What I do is we had a low pressure system blow through here recently, and it broke a whole bunch of tree branches off.
Yeah.
And I go for a walk in the morning and pick them up off the sidewalk, bring them home, process them. I take the bark off of most of them and use that for fertilizer, and then cut them into segments about that big. And I'm hanging them up. Drill a hole. You bet. Yeah. And I'm hanging them up right there. That's little stuff that you can do while you're sitting here watching YouTube videos or movies. Little shit.
Well, stuff
that little shit adds up.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, stuff I got to do out in the yard that I can't really do that while I'm sitting here because it's too much noise.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I'm done cutting, I'm actually cutting up this grass out here. I'm mostly trying to mow up the leaves because the leaves finally started dropping from the trees.
Yeah.
I want to get those cut up. They sent a couple months ago, the real estate office, they finally sent out the tree crew to finally remove it wasn't dead, it was still alive, but it was a broken tree branch that had been hanging in my tree for like 9 months.
Oh shit.
They finally got it out. I told them, look, I told the real estate office, I don't want them to haul it off. Just have them lay it on the ground. I've got a chainsaw. I'm going to start cutting it. I'll cut it up in the firewood because it's pecan wood. It's pecan wood, so it's going to be good for cooking on.
Yeah, that's what I do, Steve. Is I gather up anything that's combustible. These branches that you see hanging from the wire. I just got a piece of angle bar on order, and I'm going to keep those in the garage here where it's dry. But I've got segmented pieces of wood to fit into that paint can stove, and those I dip those in wax, and I got those stored out in the garden shed. So they won't absorb moisture, because if I have to cook outside, I want to use, my wife does all the cooking, and I'll stand there with a weapon guarding. Get in there, throw one match in there, light it up, cook, and get back inside the house.
Yeah. No, like I said, I've been cutting up everything into roughly 12, between like 12 and 14-inch lengths.
There you go.
I'm just like eyeballing it on the chop saw, and I cut it up and
Perfect.
stack it.
That little shit adds up, man. Next thing you know, you've got a few boxes full of that stuff sitting aside, nice and dry, ready to go.
Well, I'm not storing it inside. It's just stored outside. I mean, I'm sure I probably should do that. But I was thinking, you said you covered that in paraffin wax, and the wax kind of helps it combust a little bit more.
Yeah, and it keeps it dry because, here in Seattle, it rains all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same weather as England and Seattle. So I try to keep that shit out of the weather.
You can even dip it in like mineral oil, which is cheap if you buy it by the gallon. That keeps it waterproofs. It also makes it a little more combustible, just like paraffin, and it doesn't stick together. And you can leave it outside.
Yeah, Almost Green Acres. You can go to my channel and type in stove or paint can stove. I took a 1 gallon paint can, cut a section of it out with large holes around the bottom, and I cook with that. And I got that idea from my wife, who grew up in martial law.
Yeah,
that's what they cooked on, just a paint can stove.
I've got some old number 10 cans I've been saving.
There you go.
I use those. I've made hobo stoves with those, rocket stoves.
Yeah, that's what. And I welded together I took some secondhand steel bed frames and welded together a stand for that stove to go inside, and a little door. It looks like shit, but by God, it works, man. And I can sit there and be seated and cook and feed the fire right there. And there's no light comes out. So if we need to cook during the nighttime, you can't see where a fire's coming from.
It's like what I just got done telling them, like, not too long ago. It's like the Army has a saying: if it's dumb but it works, it's not dumb.
That's not dumb.
Yeah, always have different options for cooking or lighting in case the electric goes down. Candles.
Yep. I agree with you.
Different types of lamps, oil lamps,
everything. I've even made my whole channel's full of shit. How to make your own candles. I'm serious about this stuff because, if we live in the cold north and if the power goes down, okay, now you're ass out. What are you going to do now? I don't want to be in that situation. No matter what happens, I want to make sure that we're warm, we have light at nighttime, and we're going to eat hot food. Period.
Having blankets at home is a good idea. Extra blankets, wool blankets, insulation, and even going to the local dollar store, where you guys call it. We call it the pound shop. If you can buy yourself, next time you're in a pound shop, buy yourself some, the plastic clear through sheeting, plastic for decorating. So buy a good few packets of those in case you've got to, create.
Cover a window, cover a door.
I have found some of those. I haven't seen the decorative stuff like what you're describing, but I've seen like the drop cloths, the plastic drop cloths over there in the paint, the paint and hardware section. Harbor Freight, you get a lot of that stuff from Harbor Freight.
Yeah, I've got some of that very thick material sitting next to my preparedness cabinet.
Yeah, that and a few rolls of duct tape, you're good.
Yeah, and some really sturdy push pins to push it into the sheetrock so I can mask off the windows or even make a little tent inside the living room. If we're freezing cold, we can make a tent inside the building.
Yeah, you can kind of make a kind of super shelter.
Yes.
Shelter in a shelter. You're insulated, double insulated, triple insulated. If you're in a house, you got the windbreak. You're keeping most of the cold out. And then you're in a small one.
Yep.
Where your body heat keeps you warm, and that's about all you need if it's small enough. But you don't want to seal yourself in and die.
You can also create a little decontamination area.
Yeah,
if need be.
Also, like here, we get wind gales in November, December, and you have a window get blasted out by a tree branch. You can put
Yeah.
that plastic over top of that,
Yeah.
and seal it
Yeah.
up. But I put my link in there, guys. But I'm for real into preparedness, and I've got
Mylar blankets along with those drop sheets. Get yourself a load of Mylar blankets. Although Mylar blankets are not great for people say, yeah, put one of those in your bug out bag. Don't rely on a Mylar blanket to save your life, please, guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you touch the Mylar, you can't. They show people wrapped up in it, jumping in a tub of ice cubes. No, it doesn't work like that.
No.
It gives you a thermal blanket area where the air is not touching your skin. It doesn't work like that. It's dumb.
Well, and I was gonna say, Mylar blanket, it'll make you sweat, and if you're in a cold environment, you get
you're in
hypothermia.
trouble. Yeah, I agree, Steve. I agree 100%.
It's really good for temporary use.
Yeah. For making super shelters, for reflecting heat. If you're going to put it on walls, it's great. If you're going to put it underneath, like your sleeping mat,
That's good. Keep the moisture off of you. Yeah.
You know, also reflects the heat somewhat. So, you know, think about the different options like shelters within shelters to build, sealing off windows, making radiation, you know, decontamination areas, and also, you know, sharing information is very good. You know.
Yeah, my link's in there almost green, but the way I've been doing preparedness is that I'm retired, and once a month I get my pension, and like as soon as it's in the bank, I order a couple of things every month, just real slow, build it up slow. You know, same with getting your food together. You know, go to the supermarket. The only food I have stored away is what we eat every day, what we normally eat, and it's in cans and dried pasta, stuff like that. Yeah.
But buying all kinds of prep food and all that stuff. If you don't know how to cook and you're buying stuff you don't know what to do with, but hey, I have it. Okay, that's a problem in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a freeze dryer. I freeze dry everything. I make my own MREs. Yes, I know. I need water to put them back together again. So if I don't have my water supply, I'm kind of screwed. I mean, you can eat it dry, but you're going to be really thirsty.
Yeah, Steve over there, look at his channel, Dioris. He's the master of water. That guy has got a water system freaking par excellence. Everything's labeled, beautifully done.
Bring your link up. I don't think I have you on my list.
Yeah, I don't have you on my list either.
I got two of them, but whatever, that's fine. Let's see if I can do it in my.
But right now, I'm also making my own homemade fertilizer for the lawn, but I make my own camouflage stuff in case we have to leave. I'm not planning on bugging out permanently, but if we have to bail out of here on foot, you know, I make stuff that makes it very hard for them to see us. Well, that's a face veil. I bought it, and then I'm adding additional stuff to it so that we can. And I've got places selected out that the whole family knows where to go, and I enhance it, make it into a 3-dimensional. You know, I'm always busy doing something. You know.
Put it up real quick. I had to go on to a different tab real quick. I'm sorry.
This is a normal face veil right here.
Okay. Yeah. That looks
I'll show
pretty
you.
legit.
And we'll see. I think I've got some that are before. Yeah, this is before I ordered these on Amazon. They're very thin and they'll work, but this is before I do anything to it. That's what it looks like before I do anything to it.
Yeah.
And then after I add, I use yarn and tatter it and make it uneven.
Yeah.
You know,
break
before
up the outline.
Right, before and after. Yeah, anyone who's been a hunter, you know, you got to break up your outline because this can be seen from miles away. A deer recognize that shit, you know. So do people. Yeah.
I put up my YouTube channel name. If for some reason it doesn't come up, just type in DRSE on the.
It popped up for me. I just went right to it. I hadn't subbed to it, so I'm on there now.
Yeah, if you want to.
Magic Acres and Chef Tech 86.
Yeah,
Chef Tech 86. I tried typing in Chef Tech and was like, I'm not finding it.
Nah, I had my channel. I've been around for like 12 years. I just never really put anything up except for family stuff. I took it all back down again when I started doing this.
Let's see. I see a Chef Tech 86, and it looks like it's got like a raccoon in a chef's outfit.
Yep, that's me.
Okay. I want to make sure.
Yep. Raccoon and a chef hat.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got. I'm looking at right now maybe a water distilling still. They sell them on Amazon for about $100.
Oh, okay.
I didn't order one this check, but maybe next check, next month. And if I've got propane, I've got the paint can stove. If I've got water in storage, but if we need to, I can go and get it out of a local stream and put it and distill it. That's what I'm looking at, But, I'm always doing something. And the best thing though is I've got a great wife who's already lived through this shit, and she is 100% in favor of everything that I do. Everything.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that concerns me is like if I ever do eventually have a woman that comes in my life, I'm just hoping that she's on board, because I don't want her to think that I'm some crazy nut job. It's like, look, man, I joined the military. I'm already kind of screwed up anyway. So
me too. I agree. All of us old GIs are kind of fucked up.
Yeah, there's a reason why some of us are just naturally paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be naturally paranoid.
Yeah. In the military is a great example, because that's what the military does. It's look at the logistics. Like I was in the Air Force, and I'd see giant pallets full of logistics going all over the world, and it's like logistics wins and loses battles and wars, because if you can't feed your men in the field, or if you can't feed your family right now, if you can't feed them, who's going to watch your back?
Yeah, what's the quote? Army always moves on its stomachs.
Yeah, Napoleon Bonaparte said that an army marches on its stomach.
Yeah. And yeah, I know Bob knows this, but like I said, I've had some guys in previous employment that would make fun of other military guys. Oh, he was just a supply guy. You don't understand. Like I said, he's logistics, your supply guys. They are like two of your most important people in the military. Like if there's two people whom you want to make friends with, it's your chef.
Yep.
Supply guy.
That's right. That's exactly. My dad went all the way through World War II, and I asked him that when I was a kid. I said, "Who's the most important people? The pilots or the infantry?" He goes,
"Not a guy cooking your food."
Yeah, your cooks, number one. And the two is the supply guys. Those are the most important in the military. When I was a kid, I had trouble getting my head wrapped around that. But by God, he's right. Yeah. If the supply system breaks down and the people go hungry, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
You're screwed. Done.
Yep.
Good night.
Can't get fuel in, the front lines to refill the mobile armament, like your tanks, your tank destroyers,
everything,
troop transport, you're in trouble.
But I remember
can't refill the planes out in the line. You can't get any planes airborne.
Yeah, and you've got no chance of escape or fighting back. But my dad told me a story about he was in on the invasion of Burma in 1945, and he was one of the first airplanes in at the airstrip in Missionau that they took away from the Japanese. And some of the first guys to come in were the medical group that handled sanitizing water, because the Irrawaddy River was right next to the Air Force base, but we could not drink that water. The Burmese could drink it. We could not. So he said they were some of the first guys in. They started setting up water tanks with water purification, because it's Burma, dude. It's freaking hot. And all those airmen and riflemen, they need water or they're going to die, Mm-hmm. They said they were some of the first guys to go in, was the medical corps setting up water purification. That's one of the things I'm thinking about. Maybe $100 for a copper water distilling system. It might be a worthwhile investment.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Part of the basics: water, food, shelter, fire.
Security.
Yep.
security. Yeah.
So in most situations, you've still got those basic few things, items, be
Yep.
it flooding, be it war, be it natural disaster. You've still got those the basic elements,
Yeah.
to start from. Anybody to start prepping, start from that foundation and build on
Right.
top of that.
I agree 100%. Yep.
Yeah. And
Yep.
remembering that your clothes is your first line of defense. I mean, people in Spain were experiencing flash floods. They couldn't believe it. They've seen nothing like it before in all their life. But not saying that it's never happened before, because they do happen. Why do people buy properties on dead rivers, for example? I would never buy a property on a dead river. There's no such thing as a dead river.
Yeah. Well, they got what
You're
they
right.
call 100-year floodplains.
Yep. But yeah,
People bought places on rivers, and then all of a sudden that country, it rained more than it has done in the last 20 years. It rained so much on that day that it caused the river to come back. And your house is on that river,
yeah.
on that dead river, what's supposed to be.
Yeah, just a second. I'll show you guys something here. I like to show and tell. Just a second.
Sure.
Yeah, we know.
And we can talk about him now. He took his headphones off.
Yeah, Bob likes always show and tell. It's his style.
And we were talking about candles before. My mother-in-law passed away like 2 years ago now. I had to go clean the house out. She was a candle hoarder. She had all these little votive tea candles. My wife's like, throw them out. I'm like, oh, hell no. I brought them all home. I put a video on my Chef Tech link page. I basically use the can opener that cuts the outside of the ring. I use that to cut it open. And then I literally melted all the wax, filled it up. I had some candle wicks, tall ones. I made number 10 can candles.
Nice.
That's not on the video, but I made number 10 can candles.
And
then filled it back up. I threw a pack of matches.
No, I'm looking at Bob's belt here.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look, Bob's been spraying.
Yeah, he been hand painting all that.
This is an load bearing equipment, LBE, but one AR-15 magazine, 5 rounds of shotgun shells, 2 speed loaders for my pistol, holster, and the most important thing, a water bottle. You got to have a water bottle, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this right here is a blowout kit in case you get a serious wound. Okay. And some of you guys who know me know my wife's in healthcare, and I was looking at big kits and on Amazon. She goes, no, don't. She knows what she's doing. She cuts people's fucking arms and legs off for a living.
Well,
you know what I mean?
She'd probably get you medical supplies that otherwise you wouldn't be able to get a hold of due to you not being a licensed pharmacist or a doctor.
Well, what I said, what can we put together in case of a serious injury? Because in case we get in a shootout or whatever. And she designed it. She just goes, gauze squares that you can buy them, big boxes of them on Amazon, and just gauze squares. And the only thing that's inside of this right here, this is a blowout kit, is a piece of surgical tubing to apply direct pressure onto the dressing or on the limb or wherever, and gauze. She knows what she's doing. She doesn't have one of those huge med kits, just gauze. She says, what you do if somebody gets a serious injury is you shove gauze in that wound. It's going to hurt like hell. Pack it full of gauze, leave it in there, wrap it, tape it. And there's also some medical tape in there, and get them to a hospital. Well, and I said, well, what about? She goes, trust me. I stop bleeding every day.
It'll come out.
What I'm talking about. Yeah. She goes, you got to, well, what about tampons? No, those are made to absorb blood. You don't want that.
Yeah, and then just expand and cause more problems.
Yeah, exactly. It's just gauze, 4-inch gauze squares. You can get them on Amazon. That are already sanitary, and a piece of surgical tubing and some surgical tape.
I've got some of those Johnson & Johnson's. They call them surgical pads, but basically it's just oversized like
Yeah, big gauze
rectangular
pad.
sheet of gauze.
Yeah. They also call them sponges. That's what surgeons call it, sponges.
Yeah.
You know,
But this is a little bit. I think this is a little bit more advanced. You know, this is more or less along the lines of, you know, there is no hospital you can go to, but you can pack the wounds with sugar.
Yeah. I also asked, you know, what about this and that, and she goes, "Hun, if they're shooting, people are going to die. Accept it."
Yeah.
You know,
Your
and
wife
then
had to tell you that, really?
well, you know,
People are
you know what
shooting.
I'm saying. She's saying get them to a hospital because if you don't, they're going to die. But one small dagger type knife.
Yeah.
This is
I've
I've got a kit.
knife.
Yeah, I've got a kit like this for everybody in the house. Everybody can put that on and stand guard. You know. Yeah, just
So
accept it that people are going to die.
Surgical tubing, that's like the tourniquet you can buy. It's a silicone, stretchy, whatever.
Mhm.
My wife had a bunch of those. They're like door exercisers. You hang it on the door, and they're
like that.
They're just flat straps. It's the same stuff. And I picked one up at the thrift shop for like $1.
Yeah.
The roll with the silicone, I just stretch it to make sure it still works. I cut those stupid little ends off of it, rolled them up, and threw them in my kit. I just cleaned them off. I mean, sterilized. Just throw them some boiling water. It's silicone, won't hurt it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my wife says. Just gauze squares, some tape, in a way to put some pressure, and that's it. Well, what if? She goes, just accept the fact on if bullets are flying, people are going to die. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think packing gauze into a head wound is going to help if that head wound is right in your forehead.
No, you're already a goner. You wasted your time. Yeah.
Well, Bob, I'm just gonna say this much: if the shit hits the fan tomorrow, I'm packing up all my survival supplies. I'm going to your place.
Well, he didn't hear that because he just walked away. So. Hey, just email me his address because we'll both go.
Yeah.
We'll both be showing up with tractor trailers. Oh, I see. He lives more in a suburbia type environment. That's why he's worried about his neighbor. Yeah, I don't think I want to go there.
No.
I'm heading out to my property.
Yeah, I've got a first aid kit here. Basically, within this pouch, it's like a big utility pouch. You've probably seen these on belt kits before.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And within there, I've got a
there you go. Mm-hmm.
Full of all sorts of goodies, including Israeli bandages, tourniquets, small bandages, large bandages, chest seals, finger bandages, all sorts in there. And I've also got a sterile kit in case I'm far away from a hospital, and it's got enough stuff in here to put stitches in people as well.
Perfect. Yeah.
If you're in the middle of nowhere, a mountain top, wherever, I've got a little kit here that can.
That's what I'm gonna need to do. I'm gonna need to get an actual like suture kit. All I've got are like cheap little sewing kits that I'm going to use for now as my
proper suture kit in here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in there.
Yeah, we've got that white medical tape. You know, the tape that rips your hair off after you have an IV put in. That's what we use.
Oh yeah, that tape.
Same reason. Yeah, that's what we use. That's what I'm so lucky that I got the wife. She knows all this shit. Just this is what you need. This is what you need. Well, I'm out of money. Okay, just should get on her phone and click. Now you got money. Go.
Yep. Remember gloves as well. You've got to remember gloves if you're going to deal with someone who's got any wounds. Remember to have gloves in the top of your kit as well.
Yep.
And also a mask, a good mask.
Okay.
Here's I'll show you guys one more thing, and I'm gonna have to bounce out. But okay, this is we're not gonna bug out unless there's no other choice. We're gonna stay right here at the house. But in case we have to bolt out real quick, or you understand what you guys are preppers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but this you can buy. This is look in the golf netting on Amazon. And I took a lesson from the Japanese riflemen during World War II that they all wore something like this over their body, and they were almost impossible to see. So I made a poncho for the wife and I using this netting and then yarn. And I made, these are just a poncho.
It's like a ghillie suit.
Like that. Yeah, it's like that. But it's just a simple slit in the top. You can throw it over your body, over top of your LBE or underneath it. But like this, these are the colors. I selected yarn because it matches the colors locally. And we've got some places that we can just walk to very quickly, sit down, put this on, and a face veil, sit down.
Did you sew like webbing? Like, did you sew some webbing around where your head goes through the top?
No. This stuff is really strong. It's made to stop golf balls. It's very, very, very strong.
No, but I was just saying, like, did you reinforce where you cut the hole to put your head
didn't. I cut a hole so we can roll it up. It's portable. Get to a place to hide, sit down, put that stuff on over our face and our upper body, get a pistol in your hand and sit down there with a pistol in your hand and shut up and don't move. Don't make any sounds, But
it's just another bush on the side of the road.
Exactly. Yeah. People will pass right by, as long as you don't move, as long as you don't talk, you're going to have to sit there and piss your pants if you have to, but it's better than getting killed. But on Amazon, the golf netting, this stuff is so strong. You can't break it, but that's just another tip for you guys, or at least some of the stuff.
You can make a hammock out of that, or you can just throw a big piece on the ground, throw all your stuff in it, bunch up the edges, run a string through, just grab it and drag it.
Yeah. The little holes in the netting, you can take and cut off leaves and tree branches and stuff them inside there along with this 3-dimensional. So you just
I'm sure some of that stuff will pick some of that stuff up naturally if you're on the ground wearing
it. Will. Yeah. I learned that from watching the World War II films and seeing the Japanese infantry. That's what they did. Netting, and they put foliage inside of it. And you talk to anybody who fought the Japanese, you can't see them. And they counted on that. You just disappear,
Well, what I was trying to say before you had stepped off camera, I'm trying to say is when the shit hits the fan, Bob, I'm grabbing all my survival gear and I'm going to your place.
No, I'm gonna assassinate you and take all your water.
Damn it! There goes my freeze-dried food. So he's got water and freeze-dried food and 2 dead bodies in his front yard. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Well, you're a pretty big guy, Steve. I might just throw you up on the grill and fucking grill you up, man. Make you into some long pork steaks. So what the hell? Yeah, come on in.
I didn't know you were Polynesian all of a sudden.
No, I'm just a fucking cannibal. I live on a stable diet of fentanyl zombies, because as soon as they pass out and their forehead hits the ground, I grab them and throw them in my truck and throw them in my basement and, screw them. And then.
Okay there, Buffalo Bill.
I give them syphilis and then I butcher them and eat them,
Yum.
It tastes better with the syphilis.
It gives it that little bit of tang.
Yeah, it's kind of a natural meat tenderizer that works from the inside out. Life can't get better.
Another little good idea: if you can't afford to get one of those camo netting, you can try and find cheap sheets, olive drab coloured sheets.
Yeah, that'll work.
You could do all sorts with that. Paint a little bit of brown on it, cut a few holes in it, put some branches in it, some leaves in it, whack it over yourself. Sort of put foliage from the area into your sheet.
Yep. Perfect.
And, you can even buy it in the winter. For example, if it's snowed out and you want to hide yourself in the snow, you can buy a white sheet.
Yeah.
Or go out trick-or-treating on Halloween and be a ghost.
You can buy one of those cheap decorators suits where they're all white, or you can buy one of those Tyvek suits. That's like NBC suit.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can
There you
get
go.
them.
Spray yourself down with some Gorilla adhesive spray and go jump in a pile of leaves. Everything will stick. Roll around the grass a little bit.
Why not? You could make a video on that. That would be funny.
That'd be fun to watch. Okay.
Yeah, in fact, there's a pile of leaves over there. I've got an idea. I'll be back.
Yeah,
And
you
show
jump
a
in a pile of leaves and a car runs over you because it's in the road. They didn't see you.
Have you seen those dogs on YouTube where they just jump into leaves, a big pile of leaves?
Yeah.
Imagine if you put glue on your dog.
No.
Please don't do that at home.
But here, that golf netting, I'm looking at the price of it right now. A 10-foot by 10-foot square of it is $26.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's probably cheaper and bigger quantity.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Yeah.
And you could buy like those backpacking hammocks. I have a bunch of those.
You could take that netting, say, put it on your bug out kit if you want to, just throw it over top of your kit, and you know, I use different colors of yarn and then to help it, and then also just stuff foliage in it, and you're good to go. Man, just rock and roll. You know.
That just gave me a great idea because I was looking at buying some 10 by 20 camo to cover my cabin in the wintertime because you can sort of see it from the road.
Yep.
Now I'm like, I can do that stuff. Spray it with Gorilla adhesive and just drag it through the leaves of my tractor and let all the garbage stick to it and throw it over the top of it.
That's what I started off with, some of that camo netting with these, you know, and then I put the golf netting over top of that. So this is like layered.
Oh, cool.
You know, it's 2 layers. It's golf netting and then also some of the camo netting over top underneath it. Yeah, it's 3-dimensional. It's affordable, and I'll stay up late at night watching movies or whatever, and tie the different colors of yarn into it and fray the ends. And these are some of the natural colors: some charcoal, some green and gray. You know,
you can probably go down to the local fabric shop and buy like a couple yards of whatever colors you want, and then just rip it into strips and do the same thing.
Sure can. Yeah. Yeah, that's my input for today, and I'll finish smoking the cigarette, and I got to go cut the grass. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Steve, load up your truck, get that water up here, and
I'll load up all my my MREs and my freeze dry stuff, and I'll bring it down to you too. And yeah.
And then you're going to give me syphilis and then kill me, huh?
Hey, here's a better idea. Let's just go to his neighbor's house and give it to him.
Sorry, Shadow. We didn't mean to turn your G-rated live stream into a R-rated live stream.
That's I'm also part of the Filipino community, and that's a reputation I established that I'm actually a cannibal. You know, I see the body up chart on there.
That's the meat. That's the meat cuts like I have down in my.
That's right. Yeah, that's
kitchen,
right. Yeah. Some of the one Filipina, she's married to a British, and she lives over there in England, and she's not sure about me if I'm really joking or not.
I mean, isn't it obvious?
You just need to cut out some small pictures of like roast beefs and things and stick it next to the body. Say, this
Bob
cut
the cannibal.
This cut from here. This one's great for roasting. This one you need to marinate for a while and tenderize it because it's pretty tough.
Yeah, with them, the Filipinos, I tell them, I'm a serial killer cannibal, with syphilis,
Nice.
Come into my basement. Come into my basement.
Weren't you before saying you were like transgender or something like that?
Oh yeah, all kinds of stupid shit. In fact, I was joking. We just got back from the Philippines recently, and I go, oh, thank God. I had to stop into Thailand and go through my transgender surgery, all the bottom stuff. I'm now a girl from the waist down. These fucking people are like, oh my God, I hope he's not serious,
Want to see?
I'll send you some pictures. You got an email address?
You don't believe me? Come on over. We'll go down to my basement. I'm hungry.
going back to that camouflage, I just quickly dug this out of my cupboard. I bought this some time back. It comes with a pouch, and you get this kind of camouflage netting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be creative with that stuff, man. Yeah, you bet.
It's a big camo net. It can go over my tent. It can go over my body.
Yep.
And also, I can also use some of the local foliage, stuff as well.
There you go. Put some netting over top of that if you want to, and do like what I did here. Yeah.
Yeah, this suit, it's like a kind of a netting tarp type thing.
I get it.
But it's got string in there. It's got the cordage in there as well. It's got the it's quite big. I don't want to open it all out.
Yeah.
It's something like 6x6. Well, I think it's 7x7, something like that. And I mean, I'll use that to throw over myself and just jump in the bush.
Yeah. Yep.
If I have to get away.
Yeah. If you come back to my camera there, Shadow, that's what I started off with. This is the bottom. Okay, this is the bottom side of it with same kind of netting. I matched the colors to blend in here. Yeah. And over top of that, I put the golf netting and yarns in it.
Yes, it's good.
It takes a long time, but as far as I'm concerned, while I'm sitting here watching YouTube or whatever, I'm working away, and put good use of your time.
Exactly. Spend your money wisely.
Yes,
buy
sir.
stuff. Be careful with all the camping gimmicks as well. There's a lot of rubbish camping stuff out there. Don't get caught up in buying those ready-made survival kits. They cost too much money. Plus, they've got rubbish in them. If you're going to buy a ready-made kit, have a good think about that first.
Yeah, I agree.
It's better to make your own bug-out bag and experiment. Experiment the first time. If you haven't done a bug-out bag, see if you can actually put something together that's in your house.
Yeah.
And then build on top of that. Okay, I haven't got a little folding saw in my house, so I may have to get one of those. Just see what you have got and then compare it to other things. But remember, it's not a packing competition. It's not I've got more stuff than you competition. It's not more I've got more gadgets than you competition. It's about your survival at the end of the day. It's not a joke. Some people, you can clearly tell they've got a bug-out bag as an accessory because other people have got bug-out bags.
Yeah.
Especially when they pull out those cheap little survival ready-made kits they bought. Yeah, I got this from Amazon. I mean, for $10. I mean, and you're your whole life's gonna depend on something that you bought from Amazon for $10.
Yeah.
I've bought some of the pre-made kits just to see what's in them, and then I've modified them because sometimes, they're not good, but you got like a good basis to start with. It's like, okay, I'm going to see what can I change out, what can I add, what can I swap.
Yeah, that's good thinking. Well, guys, good to talk to you all again. I got to go out and cut the grass. So,
all right.
Shadow,
I'm having to finish up cutting the grass too.
Shadow, I'm still more handsome than you are, and that is a fact, and that will never change.
I'm going to lose my smile soon because they're going to take out this front tooth, and I won't be able to smile.
Ooh.
All right. Peace, everybody. Good to talk to you guys again. Steve, you take care.
Yeah,
later.
Bob.
Cheers, Steve.
Yeah. Just tell them that you're a hockey player.
Yeah. Tell them the neighbor asked you if you were a prepper or not, and you said no, and he punched you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can get a force one put in the summertime. I can get, that's another thing.
What are all those chavs gonna do when the Mackies are closed?
Well, it's a good question. It's a good question. I mean, I think cities are going to be very, very bad places to be in when the real stuff starts happening. I mean, people really are in denial that anything's going to happen in London. You say Ukraine. Hello, look, Ukraine had internet. Had all the modern stuff. Had medical hospitals, modern hospitals, and look at it. It's a wreck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah. Ukraine is 100 times the size of England. At least they could go away and get out away from stuff.
Yeah, they actually
England,
do
you're
have
kind
real
of stuck there.
countryside.
Literally an island.
yeah, this is not a very good place to be when the stuff really starts happening. And if we think that we can just run away into the wilderness and just
you don't have a wilderness.
Yeah, I was gonna say what do they call it? Trust lands are over there.
well, I mean, Scotland's still got places where you can literally escape, but we're no longer in those days where the redcoats were walking over those little hills. They've now got drones. They've got ways of spotting people. We as preppers, we have to realize as well they might start wanting to round you up. No, you can't be out here no, you can't be in the wilderness. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying, and I know this will not apply to everyone, but I'm just saying if you are one of the fortunate people who happen to have a garden, like a house that actually, like a suburban house that's got a little bit of property, a little bit of a yard or something like that, you might almost be better off trying to see if you can't construct, presuming you got the funds, construct a bunker in your backyard.
Yeah, garden shed with a basement.
Yeah. Detached garage.
Yeah, with a basement. Got to have that basement.
Gosh, it's really nice to know that our governments have got our backs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're standing right there.
It's so
with a
nice.
knife, ready to go.
They sent you a pamphlet, bro. They really care about you so much. I mean, they could have sent you a bunker.
Or at least a coupon for a bunker.
Or, yeah, like a share in a bunker, like a place. He said on your note, it said, you have no place. I thought it would have said, if you've got a place to go to, but it said you haven't got no place, but you can find a place here. Look at these maps. Yeah, see, I was laughing at the joke there.
Coupon.
Coupon, yes, you've won a coupon for a bunker.
Yeah, 10% off. Act now.
Yes.
Supplies are running low.
Yes, 10% off your screws for the bunker.
Yeah, it's taking the world by storm.
Yeah, bunker caused and it's nothing special with it.
And you get a free cuddly toy.
It costs 800,000
euros
in my currency.
Yeah, we'll give you 10% off coupon. That should be good.
But the main thing is keep your head. If you can keep the most important thing in SHTF situation, to keep your head, to keep a level head, to come to terms, start coming to terms now. I mean, they're telling us, these people actually saying to us, we're going to take everything from you and you're going to be happy.
Yep.
They're actually telling us, and this makes them
eat the bugs.
Their witchcraft even more powerful because, they're telling us, it's like they want us to all get full of adrenaline. What's that drug called in your blood? Adrenochrome? What's it called?
Yeah. That's a whole nother one.
So it's almost like they're using fear, and also they're disclosing the UFO now, the UPA or whatever they call it now. But
UAP,
that's just another lie. They're just going to start releasing little facts here and there. They're not going to really go. It's just a waste of time. Don't waste your time depending on what the TV says, what the government says. Be ahead of the game. If you're a believer, read your scripture, because you're going to need faith. You're going to need, your mind. Your mind is your most. People say your first line of defense is your clothes. Yes, for the weather stuff. But your mind, certain people are going to literally crack up. What? I can't go to the cash point machine. No, you can't. It's not working. Oh, there's no electricity.
What do you mean the supermarkets are closed? I see food in there. Oh, that's right. We can't sell you anything because our cash registers are down and we only take credit cards.
You can't do that to me. I'm an American. You can't do that to me. I'm British. What do you mean? I can't get no.
I paid my taxes.
I pay my taxes. Yeah, people are actually going to be doing that. They're going to be cracking up, complaining. You're going to get people all around. There's a very famous poem. If you can keep your head when all others around are losing theirs, people might even be saying to you, how can you be so calm and all this is going on? So what are we supposed to do? Freak out? Start freaking out?
Yeah, run around in circles, scream and cry.
Yeah, say I'm an American, say I'm British. It doesn't matter.
I paid my taxes.
It doesn't matter. You're not a name. Are you a name? Are you
what do you mean they're out of McNuggets?
Oh my gosh, you can't be out of McNuggets. Swedish, they're out of McNuggets. What's going on?
That's it. We're gonna riot the McDonald's.
If there's no more nuggets.
But I don't want sweet and sour sauce. I want barbecue sauce.
I'm sorry, due to the war, we haven't got any more left, sir.
Yeah.
It's not good enough. I'm an American.
You better make sure you're registering those chicken McNuggets.
That's right. Make sure you register every nugget.
Yeah, I had a Domino's pizza the other week with some chicken on it. I just want to register the fact. Oh, by the way, if you do go to any underground station, remember they might lock the gates. So if you do try and find a somewhere to escape to, remember to carry some kind of kit.
Yeah.
But then again, going back to the question I asked Shadow, is there a possibility that during this SHTF situation, people will be getting arrested for making certain mistakes? Oh, you didn't read the pamphlet properly. You can't set up a shelter yourself unless it's registered.
It's a good question.
Oh, you can't set up a first aid place.
First aid station.
You treated someone, but something bad happened. So now it's your fault. So you're going to go to prison. You can't send me to prison. It's SHTF situation. I would send you to a work camp.
Yeah, get in the boxcar.
Yeah, is it gulag? Stop pushing the coal. Yeah.
No.
The first thing, always try to keep your head.
Control what you can control.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Start coming to terms with stuff now. Realize that there's going to come a time when you can't get those chicken McNuggets.
I haven't eaten a McDonald's in probably 12 years.
You won't be able to get those chocolate eclairs no more.
Damn it! I'm just gonna have to open up one of my bag of freeze-dried brownies and eat those.
Yeah, that's the way forward to learn how to preserve food now, how to freeze dry it. Get on it now. Try and put off if you're saying I want to get a new TV because it's not 52 inch and my one's only 42 inch. Put it off. If you're saying, I want to get a new sofa, but your sofa, you can still sit on it or put a throw over on it. Save the money, buy something else. There's people that have literally lost everything. Their whole family history, even photographs. Start putting some of those in albums, in SD cards. People were more gutted, more horrified by losing their family photos than losing their house stuff. Have some backup money. Allocate, like Creative Redundancy says, allocating funds wisely. Have a little stash somewhere. The shops are going to be taking money initially while there's stuff. you know, they're still going to be selling their stuff. So
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
you're
there
not
can be
messed
a
up.
problem. There can be a problem, especially when you live in an almost cashless society.
Yeah.
Start finding out about food in the wilderness from now. What can eat, what you can't eat, what's medicinal, what's poisonous. You know, people were living in the land for centuries before we had microwaves and McDonald's, chicken nuggets.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were living for many, many years. Find out about the old ways, how they survived. Find out how to make cowboy beans, how to make one-pot meals.
Bob's not here anymore. I'd say, don't forget about cats and dogs, especially the local ones that are running around the neighborhood. I'm sure there were none of those in the Philippines back then.
Plus, if you've got pets as well, remember your pet needs, you know,
Oh yeah.
you might not be able to get to a vet, so you might need some meds for your dog. You might need worming tablets, so stock up on worming tablets. You know, your pets need stuff as well. Store up on food.
Yeah, I keep about a year's worth of food for my cat. Like, so I don't keep any more than that because it's kind of hard to keep that pet food, the dry pet food, from going rancid.
Yeah, it's hard. It is. Yeah. You know, buy food graded food buckets. You know, make a little project. So right, this month I'm going to get this food grade bucket, and for the next few weeks I'm just going to buy stuff every week to fill up this bucket. Once it's full up, seal it, put it somewhere. Next bucket, right? This bucket's going to be just rice with pasta, with some spices in it. And then okay, that bucket's done. Put it away.
Yeah, if you're going to do rice, you may want to break up that 20-pound bag into half-pound bags.
Yeah, that's a good idea as well.
Keep the bugs out, and then you could pack those in. I did that to a whole bunch of rice because I lost rice I had and I'm actually looking at it. It's sitting on my deck right now in a bag. Has no flavor left, no odor, nothing. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to eat it. It's 13 years old, and I didn't store it properly. So now I just went and redid my whole stock on that and bought it, and I got a chamber sealer, which is like a vacuum sealer on steroids. And I just made 1 pound packages of it, and they're like bricks. I could throw these things at somebody and put them in the hospital.
Hey, Chef Tech, do you have chickens?
I do not.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say maybe feed that rice to any chickens you might have.
Actually, I got to talk to Howie from permaculture, and because I want to dump it in my garden, but I know you don't want to dump it all at once. You need to spread it out because the worms will eat it. It's grain, it'll degrade, but too much of it'll cause other problems. So I don't want to screw my biome.
I'm gonna probably take a wild guess, and it's probably gonna like attract some kind of mold or something like that.
Oh, I'm sure. I throw whole food. I just dig a hole, dump all my scraps in there, and cover back up with dirt. Within 6 months, the worms are everywhere.
Or not mold. I should say fungus, a type of fungus, probably.
Oh yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, first off, you got chickens, you better make sure they're registered with the UK government.
Yeah, well, over here, I don't think they're going to come over to the United States to get my chickens. Although we have our own problems with our chickens on this side of the pond.
Chicken party this time round, not a tea party. A chicken party. Poor chickens, they're having a bad time at the moment.
Yeah, they're getting the bird flu. How do you know that? We tested it. With what?
Yeah.
The same test you were testing everybody else with? Yeah. What did you do? Stick a swab in his his beak?
You mean Fauci? You mean Fauci, this guy? The hidden hand guy?
Yeah.
Fauci. Oh, yeah. You can't trust him. He's dodgy.
I don't trust any of them. They're all dodgy.
Yeah. Well, they can't get to where they are without being dodgy. And I mean, that's why we keep saying, why is it these prime ministers that mess up? They keep getting promotion. They become lords. Well, because they were paid to mess up. That was their job. They actually, they didn't do wrong. They did right. They did right by their masters, and by
Their
us, they
handlers.
wasted our time. That's what their job is, to waste our time, to steal our most valuable thing in life is your time. You can get a new car, you can get a new house, you can get new stuff. You can't get your time back. And that's why they get us tied up with working, tied up in debt, tied up with wars, tied up with problems. We're all distracted. We can't find our true purpose, our true being. We're doing things that we don't want to be doing. How many people go to a job, they hate the place, they hate the job, but they've got to go because they've got to pay for their mortgage. So many people, but then, people complain when they've got a job, people complain when they haven't got a job. Society's funny. They love you when you have got money. They hate you when you haven't got money. They love you when you haven't got money. They hate you when you have got money. You can't win. It's a lot of confusion and madness out there already. I mean, to say World War III is coming, it's already happening in so many different ways. You see countries being invaded by immigrants. You see, people disappointed with their own governments. You hear stories about lithium in Carolina.
Yep.
There was having battles about that before this hurricane hit there, which normally the hurricanes don't even go into that area.
No, it's in the mountains. Hurricanes don't survive in the mountains.
No.
High
And
winds do.
somehow
But
it was funneled right to that area.
High winds and thunderstorms will, but yeah.
So then you go to that local area and you find out they've been having battles in court because a company's trying to get lithium.
they're trying to open the mine. Yeah.
They're trying to open a mine. They had one there before, and they've shut it down.
It was an underground mine. They want to do open pit now.
Yeah, so then they're saying, we're going to do it. They've put out paperwork saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this mining. And the locals are like, what? Hang on. You haven't spoken to us yet. Well, anyway, as we know, they don't care about the locals. They don't care about any of us.
No, it's money, money, money. And them.
Yeah.
Of course, we want lithium, and we don't care if we mess up a few hundred people's ranches. We don't care if we kill 3,000 people in the Twin Towers. We don't care if we destroy whole countries, as long as we get our money.
Yeah.
As long as BlackRock gets their money.
It's not. I don't think it's about money anymore. It's literally when you have all the money in the world, what else could you possibly crave?
Power.
Yeah, and also they also know that we're on. They know that we're onto them, and they know that there's more of us. And if we all
wake up,
got together and said no more, we ain't gonna come. We ain't gonna go to work today. None of us on planet Earth. We ain't going to work today. We want change now.
Yeah, they gave that away in that cartoon movie, The Bug's Life, when the grasshoppers is like, once these ants realize that there's more of them than there is of us, we're doomed.
Yeah, our way of life is done.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you watched it too, huh?
Yeah. So now they're thinking,
long time ago.
Let's kill them. We don't need them no more. We've got AI. We've got robots. We've got factories that can build things for us. What do we need them for? We use them. We've built our pyramids. Now we could just get rid of the people. So, and because we're so divided, where are we going to stand? Where are we going to start? Where is the people of planet Earth going to begin to make a stand? When and how?
Good question.
Good luck with that.
Serious question,
I'm going to continue to control what I can control right now and not get too far out of it.
This is all you can do. This is all you can do, and don't play the game. Don't be in the system where you're buying what they want you to buy. You're drinking what they want you to drink. You're thinking what they want you to think. You're watching what they want you to watch. As long as you're not trapped in that, and you've got your mind is free. But yeah, it's clear these people, that powers that be, they want us gone now. They don't need us anymore, and they know that we're onto them. Especially with all this social media, people are talking to each other. So they've actually hijacked what it means to be woken up. They've even hijacked that and making people that are woke look stupid, or they're trying to. You know, oh, you're a prepper, you're crazy. Oh, you're a conspiracy theory, you're crazy.
It's only a conspiracy theory until it starts raining and everybody wants to get on your boat.
Yep.
Same as Noah's Ark. Oh, Noah, let us on the Ark. Well, sorry, it's too late now. The door's shut. I told you before you could come on the Ark.
Yeah, if
But
you
you
came and
laughed.
helped me build it, I'd have let you on. But nope, sorry.
Yeah, no, you laughed at me. You laughed at me and made fun of me. Like, what are you doing in the desert? So we're basically, us preppers, what we're doing is we're building ourselves a little ark.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Preparing for the 7 years of famine.
Yeah,
During the 7 years of
everything else.
plenty.
Yeah. Hey, CR, you're fired now. You're fired, CR.
What's CR put
CR,
down?
you're fired.
Yeah, you're a hoarder.
Okay. Sorry, CR. Okay, I'm guilty.
I don't think that'd been a fireable offense. I was waiting. I was surprised he get fired while Bob was on.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, we're hoarders. Well, basically, not really. We're not really hoarders. Not really.
It's the difference between a hoarder and a prepper.
Yeah, we're different.
Preppers are organized their stuff.
Hoarders. I like that, Shadow.
Yeah, my mother-in-law was
But hoarders have no
part of my preps.
They don't organize anything. They just put things all over the place. Preppers has it nice and structured
Well, for the most part.
on the shelves, and
I call it organized mayhem. I know what I got. I know where it is. But if you walked in the door, you'd be like, "What?
What is going on here?"
What is going on here? What are all these different buckets and tubs and things? Different numbers and letters on the labels.
But if someone asked you for a certain piece of paper, you'd say, it's over here.
Yeah, I got one of those.
It's here, yeah, it's over here, underneath pile. Hang on, this pile, yeah, hang on. Yeah, under this pile as well, yeah, there it is.
And it felt so good the other day when I had to open up that 30-year-old coffee can with screws, nuts, and bolts in it when somebody asked me for a specific bolt. And I was like, I got one of those. I felt great. I finally opened that can after 30 years. But I knew where it was.
Yeah, it's we've got to develop a squirrel mentality, I think. Having places. I mean, how do they remember where they've stored their stuff?
They smell it. I don't think you want to smell my preps. That would be bad, and I don't think I'd want to eat them then.
Yeah, well, you can be a prepping and a minimalist too. Yep, it's true. Yep. Yep.
Well, I'm going to bail here. My iPad is down to 7%.
Yeah, and like I say, I gotta go cut this grass because I've only got like an hour and a half of sunlight.
Yeah,
I can't cut the grass anymore. It's 31 degrees outside. If I cut it now, it just shatters.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Have a great night. Nice seeing everybody again.
Good night. God bless.
Hey, thanks for letting me on there, Shadow.
Take care. See you soon.
You're welcome.
Yep, see you.
Yeah, I did believe some time back we got a text message saying that the power is going to go down soon across the country. I mean, we haven't been issued any kind of pamphlets, or they've never even actually mentioned anything really about preparedness. The only thing we was told is you may get a text message notifying you of some kind of emergency. I think they're trying to set up a system in London at the moment, in England.
Yeah. But it would be nice if your government could send out some pamphlets with similar information we do here. That would be awesome.
I think the thing is, this is a big England, the UK is a big money thing for them, for the powers that be. Money is it's like a machine here. It just goes on. You know, it never stops. The shops are always open. Everything's always open. It's always business, markets, football, sports.
Yeah.
It's always money, money, money. So they're not going to try and sort of get people to sort of, I don't know, panic or think about things other than being a consumer at the moment. Maybe I think it's going to be last minute here. I think you know, because I mean we've had Russia even threatening to destroy this little island. He said, with a nuke. So it's almost like we're sitting here waiting to see what happens. But in the meantime, we're sort of prepping. We're doing our bits. Notice that they're saying if it's in your leaflet, it says, well, if it's very bad situation, still go to work. Make sure you go to work, Swedish. Like, you know, don't worry about the planes flying overhead, the tanks rolling down the road.
Well, it would be a tough time to go to work and do what you do at work when that happens. But you need to keep things going anyway. So
yeah. Right, on that note, Shadow, I think I'm going to be heading off as well.
Yeah.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too.
Good to see everybody on the chat. A very interesting subject today, and a lot of things to think about. And preparation is key.
Yeah, and you can go through that pamphlet you downloaded, and
yes, I will. I will have a little look through that as well. And you know,
and you can talk to somebody else of your friends,
definitely, yeah,
and share it with them.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, CR, we re-employ you, CR.
So feel free to do so, because this is free, and it's free, and I can share it to who I want to. So
exactly, yeah.
And it would be nice to share it with your friends and family. Or
if I would say anything with information these days, just eat the meat and spit out the bones. Eat the meat and spit out the bones. So if you get some information from the government, you know, obviously the common sense stuff, you know, take it in, but stuff you're not sure about, you know, you don't necessarily have to eat it. You can just spit the bones out.
Yeah.
Anyway, good night all. See you soon. Take care, Shadow.
Yeah. Take care.
God bless you, and God bless everyone. And stay safe out there, guys. And keep your head.
Yes, Kalen, the US needs to bring back the civil defense system. Lots of printed materials were put out on every subject. Yeah, I agree, Kalen. That would be a great idea. Okay, CR, no problem. And by the way, I'm going to wrap things up anyway, so Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it. And it has been a pretty interesting stream today with a good topic, and I'm happy with it so far. And I'm glad that I could share this info with you. So, take care, stay safe, guys. And as Dear Love Survival said, keep your head up. And I will see you in the next one. Next video will be up on Wednesday, and next live stream will be next Saturday as usual. Same time, same channel. So, have a nice weekend. Sweet dreams. Stay safe and God bless.